Good morning. We are gathered here today to pay our respects to the greatest team that never was. The super team to beat all super teams that, they didn't beat any super teams. I don't really know where we go from here. And ladies and gentlemen, yes, I am talking about your Brooklyn Nets. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. The Brooklyn Nets, ladies and gentlemen. I just can't get over it. I don't know whether I should laugh, if I should cry. I have this weird smirk and smile on my face. It's hard today, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for coming in to your Friday Hoop Spaces. I want to give some shout outs. First is to Maliika Walker, ladies and gentlemen of the Hoopstresses and Hoop Spaces. The Rewind. New York Liberty fan. She gets to look forward to that team winning. I want to say what's up to Conspiracies and Flopaganda. May your conspiracies forever continue. But you might have to pick another team. To Jay from BK, you were right, bro. To Brandon, you got the Mets. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Durant has twisted the knife that Kyrie Irving stuck in the back of the Brooklyn Nets. And we are here to pay our respects and homage to the greatest team that never was. We also have on deck, ladies and gentlemen, some fire from Skylar. She just went off, and I tell you what, it was deserved. Diana Taurasi, not an all-star this year. It's okay. I know it's hard. Let it go. Like that chick from the Snow movie that Disney made. All right, welcome everybody. You made it. Give yourself a pat on the back. It's Friday. It is the weekend. It is day 2 of the NBA free agency period, and the likes of Thomas Bryant are going to make headlines today because that's what happens on day 2. In fact, more impactful free agent signings happen on day 2 for most teams because all of the stars are gone. It's okay. We understand this. Today, the funeral at the Clays. Where will KD end up? Skylar Diggins-Smith is her, an NBA free agency recap. The show card is up there. If you could do us the favor of liking and retweeting, it's literally the only capital we can create here as content creators on Twitter Spaces. Like, followers are dope. We need all the followers we can get. That's an understanding. But as we build Spaces out into a platform that the NBA has to pay attention to, what we need is for you to participate. And you can do that in one of 3 ways, right? You can like and retweet the show card. You can head over to YouTube and hit us a subscribe button over there on YouTube. Or if you look at the bottom right, you'll see a chat box. You can hop in there. I'm about to hop in there in a couple of minutes. There are already 3 hands up to get on stage, ladies and gentlemen. You must like and retweet the show card and shoot the host a follow. Otherwise, you're not going to get up. Like, I'm just telling you straight up. That's how it's going to be. All right. So with that, let's get started. All right. Welcome. Good morning. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. I see Mo in the building. Maliika's in the building. She's going to get top billing because she's got a hard out at 11. JFK, Jordan, Ty. What is up? All Nat. Isakari, TJ, 30 and Dubs, Janelle, 808s. We got a packed building. I see Jose in the building. Rolo's here. Jay is here. God damn, we on fire. And the Brooklyn Nets are too. All right, let's talk about it. Maliika, you're up here. I know you got a heart out, so I'm going to cut the music and we're going to go ahead and just let you go. What do you have to say?
I mean, I didn't want to be accused of ducking any smoke. I mean, I'm woman enough to take it, but I just wanted to say everybody's to blame. I blame everybody. I blame I blame Josiah. I blame Sean Marks. I blame the coaches and Steve Nash not coaching ass as well. I blame Kevin Durant uh, and also Kyrie. I did support Kyrie last year with the vaccine stance because I thought the vaccine stance was bigger. So was bigger than a basketball decision. I did support that. So going back on that, that'd be hypocritical for me. But yeah, Kyrie is also, in the decisions that were made by Kyrie, also is playing a huge part in this. But I'm not absolving anyone of blame. Like, I'm always going to support and watch Kyrie's games. Like Nat said, I don't see how you can still support Katie. I mean, I don't think Katie is solely to blame here. I believe he has some impact, but I don't believe I believe everyone is to blame. It's a mess. I mean, the Nets can't get out of their own way. Um, we just continue to be our worst enemy, and now we're back to mediocrity, and it is what it is. Like, I was literally so upset yesterday. My brother is a Mavericks fan, and he was having a good time. So there's nothing anybody can say here that hasn't been said by my own brother, because he's a Dirk fan. That's why he's a Mavericks fan. But he's like KP. He doesn't like local teams. But I will say this: it is what it is. It's a shit show. It's a hot fucking mess. Sorry for all the cursing and um, my emotional. I'm turning. I see why Zach is not a fan of any teams. I get it. I
Yeah,
get
so
it,
now,
and
now
I'll
you know
leave it at that for now.
doesn't like me too, right? Like I've absolved myself of like over emotional connection.
I'm
Like,
done with over emotional connection.
hey,
I'm just done with it. This was it. I'm done with over. I'm always gonna watch this game and support them, but it's gonna take a lot for me. I'm not going to the Clays for a while. That's for damn sure. And it's gonna take a lot for me to believe in this organization. It's gonna take a lot. Like, not just signing a player. I'm gonna need to see results them on the court for more than 50 games, or something. Like, I'm just have no belief in the organization, the front office, the ownership. We have Ben Simmons, but what does that fucking mean? He hasn't played in over a year, and he quit on his last team. Like, I have no belief in the Nets at all at this point. But I've been a fan for decades. But the emotional attachment, it's out. It's gone.
I want everybody to understand. Like, I am here on both sides, right? Um, everybody has fault here. However, it's natural human compulsion to assign blame, right? So we're going to do that today. Like, we're going to have this conversation, and we're going to start from the very top because the owner is generally supposed to set the direction. However, the owner hires professionals to run the day-to-day operations and the larger scale of a team. So we need to start at the top. What is Mr. Sy doing? What is his culpability here? Sean Marks, which, by the way, I think a lot of it does fall on Sean Marks, but also Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Patty Mills. Like, Patty Mills, even though he's beloved, he's got a part in it too, because that's what happens when you become a team. And what we have here is probably going to go down as the worst attempt at putting together a super team. We got a lot of people I know who are going to want to come up. Do us a favor, like and retweet the show card. Shoot a follow to the host. That's just common courtesy in order to come up. I'm going to try to get everybody in and out as best I can. We're going to go to Mo next. What's up, Mo? Good morning. How you doing?
What's up, brother? First, I always appreciate you. It's one of the best spaces that you can get for basketball news throughout the week, man. So it's always a great space. And if anyone doesn't follow Chris, you should follow him. Always great, and I appreciate you always having me on, man. I mean, I'm a Knicks fan, and it's a great day to be a Knicks fan. You know, you don't get to say that often. Watching Brooklyn go into shambles, the Knicks finally signing their point guard of the future and present now for the first time in 20 years. So it's a very good day to be a Knicks fan. Hearing all the criticism that we get over the media, over across the nation, about us not being able to do anything, not being a competent franchise, but watching the Brooklyn Nets absolutely go into shambles in the past 24 hours has been nothing but beautiful. I mean, I'm on here all the time listening to you guys, and Maliika is always a very positive, very happy speaking person whenever she talks on this show. And I've never heard her seem so depressed when she's talking in my life. And I'm sorry, Maliika, but excuse my language, shit happens, right?
I understand. It is what it is. But this is it. I'm done with the emotion. I'm just going to love the game and watch it and watch it, and enjoy it. I'm done with the emotion.
No,
Sorry I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, I agree with you where all this problems happens from on top. You're willing to risk your future and your franchise just to be in win-now mode with the championship. Stuff didn't happen properly. I think Shawn Marks is going to get a lot to blame. That is what it is for Brooklyn. If I was a Brooklyn fan, if I'm in their front office, I wouldn't even look back to try getting many assets. I'd try to just get as much draft capital as possible. Houston Rockets fans are probably the happiest fans in the world right now, watching Brooklyn disappear and go into shambles. So shout out to Houston for actually having a solid future ahead of them. I just wanted to give a little shout out to my Knicks, man. It's just good to watch them making some solid moves, You got your point guard of the future now. You have 9 kids or 10 kids now under the age of 25 years old. You have all your future first-round picks plus more. So free agency is going to be a lot of fun. But I appreciate you always having me on, Chris.
Absolutely. And if you don't know, go ahead and shoot Mo a follow. He does great spaces himself covering the NBA. He gets some beat writers up there. The last one that I listened to was a replay. He had Sacramento Kings beat writer from Fox. I forget the Fox station. But it's a great format. He gets in there. He talks ball, and it's pretty directed. So shoot him a follow. One question that I do have, it's up there in the poll. I had this conversation with some Net fans. What was the better run organization? And I made a declarative statement. And I don't tend to make a lot of declarative statements. But I said, since Leon Rose was hired, the New York Knickerbockers have had a better run front office compared to Brooklyn. And I got a lot of heat from that. And it's okay. But what Mo just explained was a subversive rebuild process. They threw up a whole bunch of vets while getting a whole bunch of lower end firsts to get some young players to develop. And that plan is borne through now, going into year 3. Now the plan is visible. So I asked, in the poll, better situation, Knicks or Nets? Please vote. If you want to retweet it, that's cool. We appreciate it. If not, well, I don't know why you're here. We'll go to Jordan next. We got Shawn with a W up here. 808 is here. He's going to get the run. JFK and NBA Sir Denny. We got a lot to get to. We'll go ahead and go back over here to Jordan. What's up, man? Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing great. Like I was at my son's swim meet all through the opening of free agency. Like I'm sitting down and I was talking to All Nat about this in a DM. It's a very unique situation for me. My son and one other kid on his team, the only 2 black kids in the region. And like I'm sitting here and it's very alienating. And like I said to myself, Jordan, this must be what Nets fans feel like right now. Literally, that's what I said. Cracked myself up so hard that I laughed for like a half hour straight. How you doing?
You know, I'm doing okay. You know, Nets fans, my condolences. You know, I know like it sucks right now. I guess as far as like the blame for it, I would agree with Maliika that like everybody deserves some culpability in this whole situation because you know it was a firestorm of decisions made by multiple different people within the Nets organization that created this situation to begin with. So everyone deserves a little piece of blame in this. Me personally, I think the bulk of that goes to Kyrie because Kyrie was the first person to go there. He's best friends with KD. He's the one who went to the Nets and said, I'm going to come here and I'm going to bring KD with me. And then him and KD decided that they wanted DeAndre Jordan and all of that, and they wanted Steve Nash, their coach, and all that. So I'm going to assign the bulk of this to Kyrie. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because ultimately the reason why I think Kevin Durant made the decision that he made to ask for a trade request is because Kyrie just doesn't want to be there anymore. And like I said, some of that is also down to like Marks in the organization and how they really didn't back him during the COVID vaccine situation. And they kind of just left him out to dry, which made Kyrie feel like he wasn't being supported by the organization. And we all know that Kyrie is like, if Kyrie don't feel like you backing him 100%, he doesn't fuck with you. That's just the type of dude he is. That's the type of cat he is. He marches to the beat of his own drum. He's a really different dude in the way that he operates, and he stands firm in a lot of things in the way that he operates. So I'm going to assign most of the blame in this situation to Kyrie, but Maliika is right. Everyone deserves some sort of culpability in this situation. Another thing that I do want to talk about, though, is that Woj reported that the Warriors winning the title and a lot of like the slander that he was getting for not being able to win without them is also another catalyst for him making this decision. And like I saw people like react to that really weirdly on Twitter. They were like, "Oh, well, like he can't win without Steph. He can't win without Steph. Now he's ring chasing." I'm just like, what do you want the man to do? Because like you have to look at it from his situation. Like the culture around the Nets organization isn't suitable or conducive to winning championships. Yes, they have talent, but it takes more than talent to win a championship. You have to have a decently constructed roster, you have to have good coaching, and you have to be establishing a good culture around the organization. And the Nets just weren't doing that. So if Kyrie doesn't want to stay there, and Kevin Durant knows this, and Kyrie's looking to get out, he's got to be sitting there thinking to himself, well, my guy is about to leave me here by myself. I'm not sure what they're going to get back for him, even if they do try to move him in like a trade situation. Even if we run back next season, there's no guarantee that we're going to win something. Is he going to be 100% invested with only 1 year on his deal if he's just going to walk after that year is up? So, like, there's a lot of questions in the air. So, for him to want to go to a more secure situation for his career, that makes complete sense to me. Now, as a Nets fan, obviously you're gonna fucking hate that because it's blowing up your whole situation. So I understand that. But like this whole reaction of like, oh, KD's ring chasing and all of this, we're the ones who created that environment when we created the narrative that, oh, he cannot win without Steph. You know, the Warriors just won without him. What's he gonna do now? This is what he's gonna do now.
Well, I can tell you with a fair amount of certainty that was not in any way a determinable factor of why he requested a trade.
No, I'm not saying it's a determinative factor.
Well, no,
I'm saying it is a factor. So when people react to Woj saying, well, one of the factors is this, and then people were like, well, now, and it's like, We are the ones who created that environment, so why are you complaining about that? That's what I'm asking. Like,
But
Are we
how do
gonna
you
let this
know that,
bullshit fly?
Chris?
Are
What
we
do you
gonna let
mean
this
that wasn't a
bullshit fly any
factor?
longer?
So like the idea of how it was worded matters here. The issue wasn't Steph winning and Golden State winning. The issue was he didn't see himself having a chance to win in the current situation. And I would say it's because I've talked to a couple people I grew up with, one of them who is a coach in the Durant eyeball, so AAU tournament. So like in that camp, the understanding is that he wants to compete. Brooklyn isn't a place where he can compete.
And he didn't
exactly.
realize that
Are we?
before he signed the long ass agreement to stay in Brooklyn.
Oh, I'm not. I
The
never disagree with you on that.
excuses.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. The
This is
excuses.
Yeah,
Nat. You're right. This is bullshit.
I have
Nat
to
is
hop off.
100%
I'm
right.
sorry for 11 o'clock meeting, Chris. So I apologize for cutting
you're
the
fine.
line. But like this fucking passes that y'all are trying to give KD, I'm so fucking
Facts.
tired of it.
No,
This
Nat, I'm
Facts.
not
this
trying to give him a pass.
this
Like, I'm not trying to give him a
coddling,
pass.
this fucking cradling. He
Preach.
has been in
Talk
the
to them, Nat.
NBA. He has been in the
Preach.
NBA for how many fucking years now? Okay,
Preach.
like his hands were not forced. Listen. I'm only approaching this from the legal aspect. Okay, so this is all I'm gonna say. When you talk about entering into agreements, right? You talk about bargaining power, leverage, who has the power, and whether something is unconscionable. Kevin Durant is a superstar. He was not forced into signing agreements. He has as much leverage as possible. He continues to enter into arrangements or situations. He could have done what he did in Golden State, right? He didn't sign any long-term contracts with us because that way, if it didn't work out, he can leave. He entered into a long-term agreement. That means you are committing to something. No, like if anyone goes to a work situation thinking it's going to be perfect every fucking year that you're there, it is asinine. It is not. And the reason why most of us are employees at will is because we can be terminated at any time. But when two parties enter into an agreement, it's because they have to be more committed to each other than just like your average person. It's a
Get 'em.
marriage. It's not just like, oh, we're girlfriend and fucking boyfriend, and now it doesn't work out and we leave. You understand what I'm saying? So now that this situation he fucking created, I don't want to hear about we created this and we are doing the comparison. So what? Stephen Curry was said for years he couldn't fucking win shit without Kevin Durant. He didn't
Get
have
'em.
to leave the goddamn Warriors. He stayed there and he came back and won. Who gives a fuck what we say, okay? He is there. He committed. And you know what? I don't give a shit because that's what all the other many, not all, but many of the past greats did. Many of them. They stayed in their situations and they figured it out. This man keeps leaving and going from team to team and picking the best team. And then he goes in there and you guys claim he's the one who did all the shit. Then he gets to leave. Now he goes to Brooklyn to build his own shit. With Kyrie, they give up building blocks to their franchise, which had
Talk
to
to
be done.
them.
But they give up building blocks to their franchise. They fire a very, very, very great coach because
Preach.
Kai and KD don't think they need a coach. Okay?
Talk to them.
They do these things because KD and Kyrie wanted it. Because
Talk
Preach.
to them.
KD and Kyrie wanted it. Stop putting all this shit on Kyrie. He's a
Preach.
fucking loose cannon. And you know what? Kevin Durant knew he was a fucking loose cannon before he decided to partner with him. Okay?
Church.
And he still made that fucking decision. Okay? So if you want to go chasing the 20%, 80-20 rule, if you want to go chasing the 20 and now shit hits the fan, you do not get to come back later and be like, oh, well, you know, because Kyrie did this. Listen, we didn't know it was going to be a pandemic. We didn't know that. And we didn't know it was going to be a vaccine. But we do know Kyrie's temperament. We do know his personality. So that something could happen with Kyrie was not a completely not foreseeable thing. So I don't want to hear all this bail being posted. I'm so fucking tired of it. Yes, many people are to blame. Maliika is right, but KD has equal fucking blame. He doesn't have 10%. He doesn't have 5%. He has equal fucking blame. And you know what? Let me tell you something. Don't ever let me become an NBA GM, because these dudes thinking they can just enter into contracts and then break them. I don't even support billionaires. I don't. But like the idea, I'm a small business owner. If I enter into a contract, the idea that someone can just keep fucking breaking it, what does that give me? What kind of security do I have? If we don't have to ever honor contracts, what is the fucking purpose of them?
Bars.
Wait, hold
Can I
on.
rebuttal,
Hold
Chris?
on. Wait,
Okay,
hold on.
what are
Hold
we?
on.
Okay,
Hold
so
on.
I'm sorry.
Hallelujah.
I'm sorry. I know
Wait,
I
hold
went on.
on.
It's only because I have to hop off at 11 for a meeting, but I'm going to come back. But just so
I gotta
everyone
leave at 11
understands,
too.
by way of background, I am an employment lawyer, okay? I do labor negotiations for a living. So just understand what my background is. And so when y'all are sitting up here talking about Katie exercising his labor force and all this, he's not helping the other people in the bargaining unit. He is helping Katie. These actions he's taking do
What's
not
wrong with that?
benefit. They do not benefit the other players. They benefit KD. And
What's
when
wrong
it
with
comes
that?
time for them to do collective bargaining again, it's going to be a mess because of Kevin Durant, because of Ben Simmons, because of James Harden, because of all this fuckery that's been going on. Those guys are they're a part of a collective
Hey, yo,
bargaining
Shawn, you at the
unit.
peanut gallery today?
And
Yeah.
they're not
Chris, can I rebuttal?
helping. They are not helping. So
No.
when you say that they're doing this stuff for like workers' rights and for, they're not. They're helping themselves. It is not helping them, because part of collective bargaining is a give and a take. It's a give and a take. Why are the owners going to want to give anything? They're not.
I agree.
The church says amen. The church
I know you
says
got like 90 seconds. Quick question.
Y'all are disgusting today.
In the terms of
Just like, damn, I can't even respond. I gotta go at 11 too.
No, you can. You can. Just, I promise I'll come back. I don't know if you'll still be here, but I have a meeting at 11.
Yeah, in terms of
I
strategy.
gotta leave at 11. I'll probably, if you guys are still here at like 1 o'clock, I'll probably.
Yeah, I'll be back at 12.
Yeah.
I'll be back at 12.
And before you go now, in terms of strategy, if you're a player, I'm not saying Kevin Durant, if you're a player of a certain stature and you want to attract people to your team, wouldn't signing a longer term deal provide a level of comfort to possible potential free agents coming in? It's not a rebuttal. I'm just asking, in terms of strategy, if you were that player, would you sign a longer term deal to bring in these vets for stability, or would you do a 1-and-1 where other players might not come?
I mean, LeBron did 1-and-1s. Katie did 1-and-1s in Golden State, and people still came there. Like, Golden State's a little different because I get it. Steph was still there, but at the end of the day, like, people are going to come where they think they can win. You know what I mean? And a lot of those guys who are not like at their level, they're not getting 5-6-year deals. 5-year deals anyway, and 4-year deals. They're getting 2- and 3-year deals anyway. So I don't know. I don't think that was the reason he did it. I think he was like, I'm going to stay in Brooklyn. I'm going to do shit here. And he was not he was not expecting the Warriors to win. I don't want to hear it. He wasn't expecting it. And I don't know. I'm not saying that he was rooting against Steph, or he's like, but I'm just saying, like, that had an impact now on the way people are talking about him. And so that's what he does. He runs when shit like, you know, like the heat becomes at the worst it is. It's what he did in OKC. That's what he's doing now.
Cool. Wait. Hold on. So it was okay. Wait,
it's 11 o'clock, so I can't hold on.
Yes, you
I
can.
have to go. I'm sorry. I get paid and I have to go.
This is
so
bullshit.
I will be back.
Let's see, I'm gonna mute everybody because she's got to go. Malika's got to go. Jordan's got to go. If you want to reply, you're on Twitter, y'all. You heard what she said. Natfluential's the handle. Type it in. Send her a tweet. Like, it ain't hard. Go to the chat box in the bottom right. Put your rebuttal in the chat box and tag her. I promise you, she will reply. I promise.
Y'all are fucking disgusting today. Jesus Christ.
No, we're not.
Wait, Shawn, hold on. It was okay for Katie to do that shit and leave OKC and go win championships in Golden State, but now it's not okay when he does in another city. Get off that bullshit.
That's not what I said.
I'm not
I
talking
don't
about
agree
you.
with that either.
I'm not talking about you. That's what Nat said. That's bullshit.
No, 808, you got it wrong. He was a free agent. He was allowed to do that.
Danny, he left.
He committed.
A 73-9. Hold on. A 73-9. A 73-9 team. A 73-9 team he went to after being beat.
But that's what
was a
that
free.
It doesn't
was
matter.
talking
It doesn't
about.
matter.
But
All right,
It
that
has
wasn't
whatever,
what
bro.
that
it
was
has
talking
Whatever.
about.
zero to
808.
do.
It
Go
was
ahead,
cool
Chris.
when y'all. It was cool for y'all when y'all won them championships, but now it's not okay. Y'all on
No,
bullshit.
nobody's
He
saying
was
that.
wait
He's
like
a sweet.
the problem that 808s is having here is Kevin Durant was a free agent. He had free agency. He had the right to go where he wanted to go. He chose Golden State. He entered into a legally binding contract with the Brooklyn Nets professional basketball organization, for which he's being compensated a high amount of money to perform his job, right? It's two totally different situations. You can say that it's similar to James Harden and then make your point, because that would be more apropos. But you can't say that him going from OKC to Golden State as a free agent is okay, but he can't leave Brooklyn. It's two entirely different things.
You know, y'all say y'all don't defend billionaires, but y'all up here sound like Republicans right now. Not gonna lie to you.
Oh, this is nasty.
I'm not defending anybody.
So,
What defense did I have? I simply said that
Legally binding contract. Who cares?
that's
He can do what the hell he wants to do. He's a
no,
free
he
man.
actually.
But
no,
see,
he
that's
didn't.
the
No,
the
that ain't
hell?
the point. The point is he can afford this, but not everybody like GP2s or all the other journeymen who are underneath him. If they were to go to a lockout, everybody don't make the same money as he does. The top tier 1% are going to be okay if they go to a lockout.
So it's
which
not
is
just
possible.
KD's fault then.
But
him and some other people.
Okay, but
see, I opened up the show saying it wasn't one person's fault. I opened up the show saying everybody has blame. It starts with Joe Tsai up top, but Joe Tsai hired professional basketball people. It starts with them. Then it trickles down to the players. Then we have to assign blame to the players. Kevin Durant has blame. Nobody is not saying Kevin Durant has any blame. People are saying, hey, he doesn't have as much blame as Kyrie. He doesn't have as much blame as Shawn Marks. That's what they're saying. That's where your argument is. Like, argue there first. Because if you skip all that, you're going to have a faulty argument, and people are just going to reply back to you saying you're wrong.
I said what I said, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So here's
I agree with you, Chris. That's my point. But 808 don't want to hear it because he knows about to get that butt beat on the basketball court.
Here's why I said Jordan. But I don't, and I'm sorry that Jordan isn't here, so I'm not going to slander him per se. But like the idea of the culture, they Nets didn't have a culture. I lived in New York in 2017, 18, and 19. And when the Nets were winning 20 and 28 games, and when they were a plucky 8 seed at 40 and 42, all you saw in New York was the Nets are building a winning culture. The Nets understand culture. The Knicks don't understand culture. Look what they're building in Brooklyn. Now, I'm told the Nets don't have a culture, that they don't have a winning culture. What changed? What changed? Tell me what changed.
Kyrie
and
Kevin Durant.
Thank you. Miss me with that bullshit. Miss me with the I had to leave because like, and to Chris's point, listen, I'm a Knicks fan. You know what I have to hear all the time? James Dolan, the owner, is the problem. It starts there. It starts with Joe Tsai. Because Joe Tsai gave them the run of the place. Joe Tsai fed these dudes ice cream for dinner for 3 years, and when he tried to feed them vegetables, they got mad.
Yo, I love.
They let.
How about we
dudes,
try to compare grown men to children?
Hold on a second. All right, let me take my step back, and now it's time to unload the effing clip. June 30th, 2019. Everybody rejoiced in the Nets getting these two superstars and how the Knicks failed. And I said, all right, get your shit off. And we sat there and we took it. Now, from a purely basketball standpoint, I watched what happened across the river. Wait a minute. They gave DeAndre Jordan 4 years, $40 million? He's washed. And I know he's washed because guess what team he played for before the Nets? The New York Knicks. All right, cool. Then it's, hey, KD and Kyrie are mad that Jared Allen, who is clearly better than him, are getting minutes over DeAndre Jordan. Okay, wait a minute. Kenny Atkinson is no longer the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets because KD and Kyrie didn't like what he was doing. Okay, Steve Nash, who basically was rebounding for KD and Golden State, is not a head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. I keep saying New Jersey, it's a Freudian slip. Okay. And I just keep watching these things over and over and over and over and over again. And now I'm supposed to believe that these dudes are blameless? Like, they literally, listen, they went to the Nets because they knew they could have the run of the place. I had to sit there, and after these dudes got swept, watch Kyrie say, well, me and Kevin and Shawn and Joe are going to manage this organization. What? What? After you got swept?
I want to give some breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce Brown and the Denver Nuggets agree on a 2-year deal worth more than $13 million. Writing was on the wall after Brooklyn requested the trade with Utah to get Royce O'Neal right before KP said, "Get me out of here." I want to get a couple of extra voices in. JFK first. We'll then go to Miami up top. We'll get some Heat points of view here. We'll head down to Ty. We'll hit up Dutch Nets fan, and we're going to hit up RTB and Eric. You will hear 3 voices other than myself who kind of have a leeway to come in and out. That is Shawn, 808s, and Danny. Although 808s is in his cantankerous mode, so like.
It's not cantankerous. I'm just so fucking tired of people blaming KD for everything in this damn league. Like, he's not the only.
Well, he deserves it for this one.
Okay, no, he does.
Right.
Yes, he does. Oh wait, hold on.
He signed Royce O'Neal.
Deserves
He
some blame,
signed
but not
Royce
all of
O'Neal
it, though.
too, huh?
JF,
Hey, thank you. Like, damn.
Yeah, what's going on? Good morning, everybody. First things first, I want to quote the great Dennis Green. And when I go to KD and say he is who we thought he is, I mean, we've been seeing this since OKC. Like, it doesn't matter how he left or in the manner he left. It's everything that comes up to it. Like, you left a great OKC team to go to a Warriors team. Okay, he did that. All and done. But when he was leaving when he was Golden State, we knew already what type of player he was after he left OKC to go to the Warriors. So when we're thinking that he's leaving the Warriors after winning 2 championships, man, he's trying to do something that's probably not going to be, accomplished as easily as he thought it would be. You get what I'm saying? He's trying to think like he's LeBron James. LeBron James took a different route. And I understand the way he took, because he did sign a multi-year deal with the Miami Heat, but then he went back to Cleveland to sign a 1-year deal or a single-year deal because of he didn't like the ownership. And that's where you can talk about how negative the ownership is. But if you really look at it, I think we shouldn't even be getting mad at KD for asking for this trade. I mean, this is kind of obvious, especially if Kyrie was acting crazy. If he's wishy-washy about showing up to games and he's wishy-washy in free agency, why would Kevin Durant staple himself to that? I mean, I think both of them boys deserve a pass on what's going on because of what's the head guys are going on with the Nets. I think the biggest person everybody got to blame is Ben Simmons. I mean, this shows that nobody wants to play with him because of how soft he is and like what he would do.
Wait. What?
But at the end,
What?
this is what I'm trying to tell you.
Is Ben Simmons this
Ben Simmons
What the hell does Ben Simmons have anything to do with it?
Hold on. Bruce Brown is a winner because he understood the situation and he ended up getting a contract. So shouts out to the Miami boy. He know what time it is. You got to leave a situation when it's on fire. Too bad for Ben Simmons. He's burning up. He's going to burn up in the Nets, and we're going to see who he really is. Again, back to my Dennis Green quote. We are who we thought they are, okay? Or he is who he thought he is.
That is nasty.
Yeah. But let me say this. Hold on. Yes, because nobody wants to play with him. Let's be honest. Like we
wait. You really think Kevin Durant asked out because he don't want to play Ben Simmons? That's what we're at?
It's a factor.
Look. This is. I'm going to tell y'all a secret. I swear, subconsciously, JF here is trying to make it where Kevin Durant is coming to Miami, where Miami will be the solution to all of Kevin Durant's problems.
me cook. I was almost there yet, Chris. And if you think about it, if
Look
they
at
can't
this.
give up Bam, you get what I'm saying? And DeAndre Ayton doesn't want to go over there, then it's really looking like the only two options that the Nets have, because if he's going to force his way out, is the Suns in Miami. And at the end of the day, they're going to have to take Duncan Robinson. They're going to have to do it.
Point to
They're going to
Jay
have to take some picks.
for
All
long
right?
playing and sucking people in. And by the way, I've had this conversation in a group chat. Miami is in this group chat. Miami Herald, the Enlightened Purveyor of garbage. Look, the best deal on the table is from Philadelphia. Miami cannot beat this deal unless they add Bam. Miami does not want to add Bam.
And they
We
are
can't
legally
add Bam,
prohibited
though.
from adding him
Yeah.
anyway.
So Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle, Paul Reed, Springer. So you get 4 people under rookie contracts, 3 future first-round picks, and a pick swap. No team can beat that deal without adding a superstar in there.
Is that really worth it, though, honestly? Like,
I mean,
it's a real. I'm being serious.
$30 million on PJ Tucker.
I mean, a 34-year-old KD coming off, the Achilles. I mean,
we just
great
gave
player,
7-year-old PJ Tucker $30 million.
I mean,
congratulations,
but
Chris.
do you know who PJ Tucker is, though?
I know who PJ Tucker is. We gave him 3 years at $30 million.
That's a good deal. What are you talking about?
Save me. Miami, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, how are you guys? Just listening in, and I had my point, and then I got to refute some points now. So, Chris, even if you think Philly's the best offer, which I don't think it is objectively, I just don't see them trading KD within the division. That really doesn't make a lot of sense.
Oh, I agree. It only happens if KD says Philly.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to point out is I don't know what JF was talking about, the Thunder being a good organization. They traded Harden for Steven Adams and a bag of peanuts. So that was the reason why he eventually had to look at get out of OKC. And I think
were they quality peanuts at least?
I mean, I don't know. Whatever you guys like, I guess they might have been Planters or something. So
okay, cool. That's a good brand.
Yeah. The other thing was I thought she made a lot of good points. Nat was a little heated, but I thought she really kind of explained the issues that are going on. The Nets and KD, they both committed to people that are volatile, right? I have tweets going back where basically saying that the James Harden trade was going to be the end of an era for the Nets because if they didn't win, they were all going to want out. And I didn't think that was really going to happen after KD signed the extension last year. But signing that extension is just a big mistake by him and his agency. There's just no reason to put yourself in a position where you're committing to the team if you weren't sure about Kyrie beyond this year. You didn't know if Harden was – you basically committed to 2 guys in Harden and Kyrie, who I don't think basketball is their number one thing. They're great players. They're great talents. I don't think basketball is their number one thing in life. It's kind of been shown over and over again. While they'll take the money and they'll take the fame, they're just not always the guys who are going to give you everything you need to win. And for him to make that mistake, because that's what the other 808 you had kept mentioning, like that he left for Golden State. It doesn't matter. He was able to do that. That's what a free agent's able to do. It doesn't matter. The issue is signing the extension last year and committing yourself to this organization and volatile personalities in Kyrie. And, I don't think Ben Simmons needs shots here. It doesn't really matter what they think about Simmons. It's just more like KD's now sitting in this spot. He requests a trade, and the Nets are probably going to grant it to him simply because they want their organization back. And they feel like it's been hijacked by KD and Kyrie, and they have no real say in what they can do anymore. And that's the only reason why they're trading him. If they thought for any reason that they could push back and make KD go out there and play, they would do it. And they're just worried based on the power that KD has that maybe he'd sit for a while just to get what he wants. And they're not willing to take that risk anymore, and they don't want to do that. And the last point that I thought Nat made that was really good, and you guys aren't thinking about it because you're just thinking about the play on the court, is they're going to have a big issue when they go collectively bargain again. Owners are not going to want guys to sign long-term contracts. And then, this is literally KD asking out before he's played a second of this contract. He has literally asked out before he's played 1 second on this deal that he signed last year. That's a huge problem going forward for the NBA. And it's not KD's fault because he's not the first one who's done it. But it is a problem going forward when you're going to have owners pushing back saying, you signed a deal to be here for 4 years. And while you're allowed to be traded as part of the deal, That's what they get for getting millions of dollars. Unless they get a no trade clause, they're able to be moved. It's gonna cause ripple effects down the road that I don't know how long of a lockout we're looking at whenever the CBA expires. I know that shit's boring and no one here probably wants to really talk about a collective bargaining agreement, but those are the things you kind of have to think about when this happens. So they made a mistake on the Harden trade, even though everyone was like, oh, they didn't get enough.
Well, they made two mistakes.
But that was the beginning, Chris. That was the beginning of the end, because the problem is that you gave up your draft picks for a decade to get Harden. And as well, we're all sitting here and say Harden's one of the best regular season players ever. The stats back that up. He's a very, very good player, but he hasn't done it in the postseason. And he's been a guy, the jokes about the strip clubs and stuff, we don't know if they're necessarily true, but he's just a guy who is not committed 100% to basketball. He's never come in like amazing shape and been like, this is going to be me, and then has proven it on the court when it matters. And so when you make that commitment, and then you have, obviously you couldn't predict COVID, but here we are with a guy like Kyrie who's saging the arenas and doesn't want to get the vaccine and doesn't want to play, on his terms. You have issues when you commit to guys who you're not sure are going to be there. So I know, for example, Chris, people when they were talking about, should the Heat go after Kyrie, and they compared it to Jimmy being an asshole in the other places he had been before he got to Miami, and obviously Jimmy still being an asshole in Miami based on stuff that happened last season. It's like, you don't worry about Jimmy Butler showing up to play basketball. That's not a worry that you have. You can worry about, is he the best fit on the team? Is his body going to hold up? Is he going to be able to make a three when it matters? There are questions about his on-court fit, but you never worry about Jimmy Butler showing up and playing. And so that's the difference. Like, you worry about Kyrie showing up and playing. In this case, you worry about trading for KD, who's a guy who came off the Achilles, and if he's going to get mad if something doesn't go his way. Not in the same respect as Kyrie, but the same type of volatility where he might leave. And the only other thing I'll say about KD, and the thing I was confused about, is KD came over to the Nets and signed that 3-year deal right after he tore his Achilles with Golden State. He got the full guarantee, and he basically sat out a year to rehab. Knowing that, I just don't understand why he committed last season, knowing he would get that money again. And if he hadn't signed that extension, he'd be going to any team he wants right now, and the Nets would take whatever the team offered in order to get to KD. And he's put himself in this situation by signing that deal.
Signs this contract first. As a black individual coming from where he's from, you don't turn down generational wealth. And if that was the first opportunity of generational wealth that sets his family up for 10 generations, you take that. 2, you take that knowing that as Kevin Durant, if you say you want to trade, you're more than likely going to get a trade. Like, we can literally say 4 players in the league right now, 4, can go to their GM and say, I want out. And that GM, without any question, says, we will find the best situation. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and probably Jokic. Like, even Luka isn't there yet.
There's a 5th guy. The guy in Golden State.
Well, I actually have him a tier above that because he transcends that type of list where if he were to leave, it is now, we thank you because you are us, period. Whereas like LeBron, we thank you for winning us a chip and you're the greatest player we've ever had. Steph kind of took it another level. I want to get these.
Wait. Excuse me?
What?
LeBron is not the greatest. Chris, stop it. What are you on right now?
What do you mean? Like, I've clearly said he's not the greatest player of all time.
No, you just said he's the greatest Laker of all time.
No.
That's literally what you just said.
Greatest player on our team. I'm using that as a generalized statement. If LeBron,
okay. Maybe you should say a little bit clearer, man.
Or maybe you should just allow me to say it openly, because I don't think anybody else had a problem.
Yeah, it sounds like you said best Laker.
Okay. Chris, can I just make 2 points and then I'll leave up my spot just based on what
Yeah, go ahead. Said. And JF probably wants to reply. We'll get him in. We got Denny, RTB, Ty next, and Eric after that. Go ahead.
Thanks, man. So I would never tell anyone to not, like, the generational wealth, the money when it's on the table, and obviously you can't really argue with that. If it's there and you want it and you've had the injury before, I totally understand taking it. So I'm not saying from that perspective that he's dumb to have taken the money when he took it, and that he's setting up his family for generations. That's a stupid thing. It doesn't. I don't even think it matters where you come from. To pass up that type of money would obviously be a tough decision for whoever you are, and for any of us, obviously. What I'm saying is, I think it's really hard to take the money and knowing I think that's what was Nat's main point, is that he knows that he's able to ask out and do this stuff. He knows the power that he wields, and I think she's saying that's a selfish perspective to have, because there are other things at play when he does something like that, and it is going to have ripple effects. He's not doing it for other players. I think someone brought up a good point. Like, if Gary Payton II wanted to sit out his deal, they would say, okay, sit out your deal. We're not. And so that's what it is. He can take the money. He can sign the extension. He can do whatever he wants. If his priority was to get the money and worried about if it'll come again or if he gets hurt. But then he can't. It's hard to have your cake and eat it too, and not worry about the effects that you have for the rest of the league and other players that play in the league. So that's where I think KD deserves the blame. I would never blame a guy for taking money. That's stupid. But I think he deserves what comes from the consequences of doing this and thinking, oh, I can do this because I'm KD, and that's my problem.
It's not his job though. His job is not to worry about
no one said it's his job
in the league.
Yeah, I didn't say that. I just said there's consequences from his actions.
Oh,
hey,
what's up, Ty? What's up, man? How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I just want to chime in, man, because I've been waiting an hour, and normally I don't cut in front, but it's 1 o'clock for me, so I'm trying to go to sleep soon.
It's late for you. I forgot. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's pretty late for me, man. Number one, I really don't care about the KD drama, because I find it, I just kind of find it hilarious, because I know quite a lot of Houston fans. That they are clowning the absolute flying fuck out of Brooklyn right now. You know what I mean? They made a space. I'm not even you think I'm trolling. They're planning a party. They're like that's how fucking happy they are about this Brooklyn Nets downfall. But Chris, did you see that Zion Williamson signed the max?
I did.
The extension.
I did.
Again, I say this with all disrespect, except Shawn, because I respect Shawn in here. Fuck the Knicks. All us Pelican fans. I'm going and I'm saying this each and every single goddamn space I can. It's fuck the Knicks. Zion Williamson's gonna leave New Orleans and how he's gonna go to New York. He's gonna team up with RJ Barrett. Yada yada yada. Well, guess what, buddy? Your best player is Jalen Brunson. Worry about that first, and then we can get to that.
The tears are so delicious. We are a massive massive basketball team.
Chris, I am dreading that this fucking happens, Chris. Well, what do you think the possibility of the Pelicans trading for KD? I don't want it to happen, by the way.
8-0.
Why do you think that? Because look, as much as I'm against it, I feel like the Pelicans have all the assets necessary to go get KD.
They unless the players themselves sat down and said you need to do this, 0. They made their bed. Griffin made that bed, and they ain't changed shit. They got Zion coming back, Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum. They got wings 6'6" to 6'9" from spots 4 through 28. And they don't even have 28 players on their roster. They are fine. They are laughing at everybody. Seriously, they are looking at the Warriors and nobody else. That's their mindset right now.
Chris, I am so happy that you see the way how we do, man. It is such a, refreshing take, because on Reddit, somebody said the Pelicans would have to give up not only Zion, but Brandon Ingram also. I nearly wanted to just jump off a bridge. One of them, okay, makes sense. Both of them, are you fucking mad? It's like asking Boston, hey, just give us Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and pretty much everybody in the fucking team.
Yeah, if it were to go down, it literally wouldn't be Zion. It would be Brandon Ingram as the main piece. And
Chris, shut up, Chris. Shut up, Chris. Respect me.
I'm trying to help you, Ty. The issue is then the secondary compensation, because Brandon Ingram isn't going to be enough for the Brooklyn Nets.
I know.
New Orleans is not going to give up that depth. They've seen what Memphis does. They see Golden State, and they see that Phoenix can't top them at the end of the year. Like David Griffin knows what he needs to do in his mind to put his team in contention. I think that's what he's doing.
The floor is the cake.
A team I do want to throw out, because I don't want to go fully off the topic. I've talked about Zion. I'm happy. A team which is I could see as a dark horse to go get KD, and I mean Laker fans are going to hate this. The Clippers. They have Paul George. They have the role plays to do it. And I'm just saying, if the Clippers get Kevin Durant to team up with Kawhi, I'm going to enjoy it simply because Lakers teams are better. Just seeing the Lakers fucking suffer, it's even better than seeing Brooklyn suffer.
They don't have the picks. They don't have the picks.
All right,
they don't have no about Paul George, and then they got the role plays and stuff. I feel like it would work.
As a Pelicans fan, you should know this because you were on the receiving end of this. As I tweeted, the floor for a KD trade is the AD trade. 3 young players, 3 picks, and a pick swap. That's the floor. And the Clippers don't have the picks.
Brooklyn's a pretty stupid organization with all due respect.
But that's the floor.
That is
sure, they were that bad. Sean, they had Jeremy Lin as the starting point guard. Or, sorry, Isaiah Whitehead. Congratulations.
Get some sleep, Ty. We'll see you tomorrow. Well, actually, no, we won't see you tomorrow because
it's second for me.
It's my son's birthday tomorrow.
It's July 2nd for me, Chris.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. We'll see you the 5th, right?
Yes. Have a good one, Chris.
You too. We got a couple of hands up, and then we've got a dope woman on stage that we're going to get to and talk some Skylar because what she did yesterday, I think, was warranted. I really do. And personally, I'll clear the air now. I'm anti-UConn. I am a big no to Gino. I think he runs or has tried to run women's basketball as like a shadow Don, and I'm not down for that dude. And I don't like most UConn players either. So we'll get to that after we clear up these hands. We'll go to JFK so he can respond. We got RTB, Dutch Nets fan, if you're there. We got Eric P, and we got Rennie, and then we'll hit up some great W talk in about 10 minutes, y'all. So we'll keep it brief. We'll go to JFK first, RTB next, Dutch if you're there, Eric and excuse me, Denny, and then we'll hit up some W talk. Appreciate it, everybody. Good morning.
Appreciate it, Chris. For Miami Heat, the whale alert just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. The Toronto Raptors just signed Otto Porter Jr., so it's kind of looking like that market is thinning up. So what I have to just say about everything is, like, let's be honest. The Nets haven't been doing what they got to be doing in the front office, because first hiring Steve Nash as your head coach when there's a whole bunch more other qualified coaches was a bad mistake, especially when you got 2 superstars. Like, how are you going to manage that? And they didn't do that properly at all. I mean, if you look at it, they got about like 5 other coaches they could have picked up. Even Mark Jackson's still on the sideline, and he could have done something with KD and Kyrie. Steve Nash is just, a rookie coach, and for him not to show up for some of the games as well, like, for whatever reason, I understand it may be personal or whatever, but it's still not a good look when you have 2 superstars. Them also trading James Harden for Ben Simmons is also not a good look. You're talking about somebody like James Harden. Yeah, he might not be in basketball shape, but at least he puts on jerseys compared to Ben Simmons just sitting on the sideline because people made fun of him because of the product that he produced on the court. I mean, it's nothing, but, he deserves what he's getting. So I think with those 2 things happening, he kind of had to force Kyrie and KD's hand. I mean, like, yeah, you put all this money into Ben Simmons, and you can just look what Bruce Brown just did. Like, he cleared it.
Now, you're cutting out a main problem here, right?
What was it?
That the fact is that KD and Kyrie wanted James Harden.
Exactly.
So they got James Harden. Once it became untenable, then they had to get the best deal for Brooklyn. And what ended up happening was nobody wanted to pay a really good price, and because everybody knew that he was going to Philly.
And I think that's the problem. Again, we understand these superstars and what their demands are. So it's like, you cannot blame the organization for picking up a Goran Dragic when they really don't have anything else. You get what I'm saying? Like, you really have a superstar who's sitting on the bench and not playing what he should be playing, especially when it's crunch time in the playoffs. Like, that sweep is going to be under their name for a long time, and nobody's going to say anything about Ben Simmons not playing. But at the end of the day, like, if Pat Riley's going to make a move, I think he needs to get rid of his older assets and keep his younger ones. And, yeah, get rid of Duncan. Like, that's still a good asset. I understand you say 76ers have a lot more picks, but you got to understand, Chris, there could be a third or fourth team that can be joining this trade. I mean, there's a lot of pieces to go around. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of, like, people are already gone in free agency. So it's looking kind of thin. So I do see Pat Riley pulling something crazy off. Not for Kyrie, though, but for KD. But I'm not that big of a fan of, like, you know, trying to get KD. But if we do, I'll lose my damn mind, Chris. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good weekend. Man, like, there's a whole bunch of you here. We just crossed over our first hour. I want to say thank you for coming in. You could be anywhere. You're giving us your time, and we are all appreciative. A lot of content creators here on stage and in the audience. One of them, I put up his YouTube page. That's Justin. He comes in and he talks when he can, but he always supports us. This is us supporting him. Check him out over at YouTube. Head over there. He does great reaction videos. He'll be on there tonight at 6. Shoot a subscription. He's really trying. He's grinding, and he actually produces great content, especially if you are a Celtics fan during the basketball season. If you do have your own podcast that you do want to promote or a space you want to promote when you're up here, by all means, that's what we kind of built this for. I also want to welcome our friend, the Pickup Card Game. You can find it at slamgoods.com and pick up your own copy. And if you look up in the Jumbotron, his tweet, that dude is now with the heavy hitters, Adidas Hoops and the New York Knicks, sponsoring a great summertime program over at the Rucker. And if you're in New York, stop by. If you bought a copy, stop by and get it autographed. That's what you should do. And if you're in New York and you haven't bought a copy, march over there and see if he has a copy you can buy and get an autograph. There you go. Up next, we're going to clear out some of these hands. We're going to go to Dutch Nets fan because it's early in the morning over there. Dutch, it's good to see you. Brandon is up here. He's going to be laughing the whole time, talking Mets in his head because the Nets right now are a dumpster fire. Your thoughts?
Yeah, thanks. It's actually 5:30 p.m. here, so I'm good. I finished work and I'm chilling, but thanks anyway. Yeah, so a couple of points that I want to make is first, people we're saying that they don't understand why KD signed the extension when he did. People forget that around that time that KD said he was gonna sign the extension. Shawn Marks went out there publicly and said, that he has an agreement or is coming on an agreement with Harden and Kyrie. Right, so basically back then it seemed like all three of the big three are gonna, sign, a contract. What happened was that the Nets were told that Kyrie was going to be able to play by the NBA, and things went differently. Eric Adams happened, and then it took much longer than everyone expected. Harden got pissed off. Harden asked out, and Kyrie obviously didn't sign anything. So that's why, Kevin looked a little bit silly maybe in retrospect. But back then, the Nets front office were feeling like, okay, this is great. Kevin said yes. The other two are going to sign as well. The big three is going to be here for the foreseeable future. So that's also something that happened. Another thing that I wanted to say was, we shouldn't underestimate how much of a problem it is that, someone signs a contract and before it actually kicks in as out, like contracts should still mean something. Otherwise, we can do away with contracts, right? Let's be honest. And, player empowerment, I believe in it because some people complain that players are earning too much money. I think but it's also the market. The money is there. I don't need Joe Tsai, who is a billionaire, to get more money and players less. Right, the players are the ones that make the league, so they should be earning the money. So yes, maybe 100 million, 150 million sounds like a lot, but if the money is there, I'd rather have the players earn the money than that the owners get even richer, which they are regardless. But I feel that the players should earn the money. I can live with that, but they should also then at least respect their contracts. And what Ben Simmons did and what Kevin Durant is doing now, I don't have a great feeling about that. Lastly, in my years as a Nets fan, I've been a Nets fan since 2004. It's tough. I've seen a lot of bad things, like the 70 losses we had, and countless of other things. But this is the first time that I'm actually upset. Because Joe Tsai liked this very questionable tweet from a woman who seems crazy, talking about culture over any one player. When you have this kind of once in a lifetime talent on your team, you cannot fumble it and lose KD and Kyrie, and you cannot lose alienate KD because you want to play hardball with Kyrie for the culture. That's just bad management. And Joe Tsai is a billionaire, so I'm going to assume that he knows something about business, because I don't think that he inherited his wealth. But he fumbled the bag. So I defended Shawn Marks. I never said anything bad about Joe Tsai, but bad decision making all over. And it kind of hurts and sucks to be a Nets fan.
And to your point about them getting richer, ladies and gentlemen, he is correct. The TV deal is getting ready to expire, and the new one is expected to be 3 times what the old one was. The old one was 24, I think, 0.9 billion, rounded up as 25. They're expecting anywhere between 72 and 77 billion dollars, with a B.
Whoa.
Billion. What's up, Brandon? How you doing?
Oh man, Joe Tsai is cheap as hell. That's all I gotta say. But no, it's a very frustrating time. And it's more frustrating that Nets fans have went low, and now that we're a dysfunctional organization, they're starting to talk about the Knicks. It's just like, who are we to judge? We're probably a little bit more of a dysfunctional organization than the New York Knicks right now, and it's not even close. You had 3 superstars, and you let all 3 of them potentially walk within 18 months of getting them. How embarrassing is that? That has probably never been done in NBA history. You're going from a championship contending team to a potential play-in team, depending on what we get back in the KD trade, which I would assume is going to be a lot, but, I can't really trust Shawn Marks doing much right now. He traded a first-round pick for another undersized wing in Royce O'Neal. He put that out as soon as KD's thing got out. Here, we're going to make this horrible trade, and we're also going to put out the KD news just so you guys forget about it. No, I saw that. You don't trade a first-round pick for Royce O'Neal, a 6'4" undersized wing. What is up with Shawn Marks' fetishes with undersized wings and bigs? Why can't we have a traditional wing on this roster instead of having an undersized wing guarding Tatum and Brown in the playoffs? That's why we got swept, because we couldn't stop them. It's frustrating, Chris. The very first article after we got swept by Boston was worrisome. It was Joe Tsai losing money, and we knew where that was heading. A cheap ass offseason. And now he's reportedly saying he's more happy with the D'Angelo Russell days than Kyrie Irving, KD days. This team is probably never going to see a championship under Joe Tsai.
Dang.
This is music to my goddamn ears. And Brandon, kudos to you for recognizing that, what the reality. But this is and I'm not even coming at you, Brandon. I don't know you at all. But I just remember when everyone thought that KD and multiple parades down Flatbush, multiple parades. This is. I'm sorry. I'm enjoying every minute of this shit. Every effing minute. Championship pedigree. People used to come in this space and say, hey, it's a great day because I wake up every morning and Kevin Durant is on my basketball team. People used to say that in this space all the time.
Continue to preach, Shawn. Keep on bringing. I love this fucking energy. I'm sorry for Chris, man, but
bro,
it's finally our turn to be happy, man.
The petty is gonna be on 1,000. 1,000.
And Chris, I just wanted to say yesterday when we were speaking in the spaces, and I'm sorry to cut anyone off, where that lady reporter said that's 95% chance Mitchell Robinson wouldn't sign. And I told her that's a 95% chance that Mitchell would sign for 4 for $60. That's exactly what happened this morning. So she was wrong. But it's just a great moment to watch Knicks fans actually be happy for going in a direction, having all their assets, having all their picks, all the Nets fans going into shambles. Good luck to the New
Knicks
Jersey
fans
Nets,
are the
guys.
worst, man. Really, Knicks fans are the worst.
You're right. The New Jersey Nets fans are the best. The 17 ones that you guys have.
Listen, Mo. Don't come at us. I didn't say anything to you. Just Knicks
Oh, I'm
fans
not
are
coming at you
not the
personally.
worst.
I have respect for everyone in here, man. I'm just talking about in general.
Yeah, Brandon, they ain't coming at you. But some people in your fan base, yo, where's Rob Markman? Where is he? Where is he?
We don't want him here right now.
But do you know what? But for those who do not know, Rob Markman went out of his way to write a letter and post it on Twitter about why he was defecting from the Knicks to the Nets. Can't find that tweet now because he deleted it. Shout out to all the defectors. Shout out to all of them. All of them. You're not welcome back.
No,
Stay on that side of the East
take
River.
them back.
I need to clear this segment, ladies and gentlemen. We got RTB's been waiting an hour and 20 minutes. We got Eric who's been waiting for 47. Denny's been waiting for an hour plus. Like, let's get.
I want to give you. I do appreciate you letting me up here. I haven't been up here in a while, Chris, so I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, no. And if you guys need some good Nets talk, and it is good Nets talk. Check out Brandon. They host Nets Twitter Spaces with Jay from BK, Saint from Nets Kingdom AJ. It's a phenomenal vibe. Not right now though, but maybe next season once they stop crying. RTB, thanks for the patience, bro. Mike is yours.
No problem. Thank you. I just don't understand. I just feel like the most popular thing to do is to dump on KD. Like, I feel like he's always been that player that people dump on. If you look at the season he had, he came in, they was number 1 seed, get hurt, and they fall down to 8. Harden's gone. Kyrie can't play, and he's playing with a bunch of rookies and two-way players. Like, you didn't hear him complain or none of that. He's 33. And he came off an injury, rushed it back just to get us to the playoffs. Then at the end of the summer, you repay him by saying, oh, well, we rather to do away with Kyrie and KD if instead of signing Kyrie to a max deal. Like, why would you say that after the things he done this season? You didn't even have to put KD in a situation like that. You could have just said, well, we're not going to give Kyrie this contract. You don't say, oh, well, we rather to do away with KD, even though he signed his extension, did everything he had to do this year without complaining about anything. And it's just sick how Warriors fans try to dump on him too. Draymond Green lost Klay Thompson and Curry for 1 year, and he crybaby the whole year having to play with rookies, getting fouled, getting teched out every game just because he had to play with rookies. You didn't hear no complaint about KD, none this year. But you get to the summer and alienate him from the organization and try to alienate Kyrie from the organization. It don't matter what happened. If you want to build an organization on trust and grit, guys, why would you alienate all your players at the end of the year because you got swept when the whole world is pretty much dumping on all 3 of the players you have, Ben, Kyrie, and KD, and you choose to alienate yourself from them? That doesn't make sense. Then you complain about, oh, we want guys like that, but you let Bruce Brown walk. Isn't he a gritty guy? Isn't he a tough guy? There's some things that Sean Marks said he wants. Why did you let him walk? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, y'all saying all these things like, well, KD asked for Steve Nash.
Hey, RTB, we paid Patty Mills more than Bruce Brown got. I'll leave it at that.
Bro, we ran a 6'4" and under guard lineup. So you mean to tell me that KD wanted you mean to tell me KD wanted that type of lineup in the playoffs against the Celtics, bro? Y'all complain about KD not being a leader, but somehow he's making all this executive moves for these players and this and that. Okay, you can put the James Harden thing on you, but what James Harden? And the point of having a star is for them to advocate for trades. Any star is going to advocate for a trade when you can get a better player. That's the whole point of them being a star and using their star power. Like, it just seems like, yes, the blame is good to share, but it seems like all the bad moves y'all try to put it on KD and Kyrie when the management is supposed to do their job. It's supposed to be a group thing. not just a one person thing. So when things don't go right, don't blame a guy that broke his back this year for you, and you didn't do nothing to repay him, but say, "Oh well, we'll let him walk. We're definitely not going to sign Kyrie." That doesn't make sense, bro.
You don't understand why they wouldn't want to give Kyrie 5 years, $200 million?
No. Look. I don't care about that. This is the thing. You don't put KD in. Why would you say we willing to let KD walk? You don't say that. They didn't have to say that. That's basically like dropping your nuts.
You didn't answer the question. You didn't answer the question.
No. The Kyrie situation don't have anything to do with KD.
Yes,
you didn't
it
have
does.
to put KD in it. You didn't have to say.
They're tied at the hip.
I could tell you exactly one reason why you would say that, right? I had a commanding officer. We didn't necessarily get along. We just had different personalities. But like he had made a statement, and I'm not gonna make the statement on here because it's not the forum for that. But what it was an assertion of authority, right? That's what that statement is. We can let him walk is him saying, I'm the GM. We can let him walk. It's a statement of assertion of authority, trying to take control of a situation that has gone completely left field. That's usually like the last sign of a failed relationship. Like that's that statement.
I understand you saying that about Kyrie, but after the things that KD did for them this year, he's been the most reliable player. You made a trade for a dude that didn't play this year at all. You essentially got Seth Curry for James Harden, and he didn't say nothing about it. So, bro, I understand you saying, okay, we can let Kyrie walk. There's no point of putting KD in that conversation. You could say, oh, well, we're just going to work with Kyrie. He can walk, yada, yada, yada. You don't have to say, oh, well, we wouldn't let KD go too. Forget him. Like, that's basically what you said.
Kevin
basically
put
like you said, screw him.
In that situation. He has tied himself to Kyrie.
No, he didn't.
Irving.
When KD made that podcast, what did he say? I'm going to let the management deal with that. He didn't say nothing else about it. Then the next day, they said, oh, well, we wouldn't let KD walk. You don't have to say that. You don't have to put him in that conversation. No, you don't.
Do you think it is a coincidence that after Kyrie Irving opted into his contract because he could not get a sign-in trade by using his friend as leverage, that him and KD went radio silent and had no contact with the team until Kevin requested a trade? Like, this idea that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are independent actors is bogus. He has attached himself to Kyrie from day one.
And real quick, when people ask, because people have asked, why did Kevin Durant, back his guy and getting, a max contract? Like, everybody would do that.
Yeah.
So
and Kevin Durant has been radio silent in the front office since the season ended. I will leave it at that.
All right. I want to transition. I want to get another voice from the Miami Heat perspective, ladies and gentlemen. I urge you all to shoot her a follow. This is SiobhanB. She is with the Miami Heat beat and the Hoopstresses, and she is going to actually give a very cerebral take here. I've listened to her now several times. I am a fan, and you should be too. So shoot her a follow because she covers the game from a unique perspective that I appreciate, and I think you will too. SiobhanB, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Chris. Thank you. Can you hear me? I'm in my car. Does it sound bad?
We can hear you. It's just a little bit light. I just tell everybody to turn it up.
Hazard reported ahead of quarter mile. Yeah, so a lot of things have been said. Thank you for having me first. Just kind of going to bounce around to a few things that I've heard talked about and how I think they kind of all tie together. One, KD to New Orleans, I don't think that's a thing. I agree with everything that you said about what New Orleans is doing right now. They got a veteran guard there with BI, right? They got rid of Josh Hart and brought in a guy that you kind of hope a Josh Hart can grow into. Zion appears to be less flabby. Like, he's still big, but that's just his natural body type. Like, he's going to be big. And so I don't see anything worth, like, blowing up kind of what's happening in New Orleans. With regards to, like, other packages for KD, I'm gonna come back to the Phoenix package as that being the other place that he said that he would like to go. I don't. People have been talking about what Boston could put up, and unless Boston is willing to put Jalen in that, which I don't think that they are, I feel like Boston is under the idea that they've largely experienced success under the J&J kind of era, and it's Ime's first year. They got to the finals. Ime feels like a loyal type of dude. Like, I don't see them moving that for, like, blowing that up for KD, especially coming off of the year that they kind of just had. Phoenix, I think Phoenix offers them kind of like the, I don't know, the second most kind of competitive package, right? Phoenix has fucked with DA for the last 2 years. I really like DeAndre Ayton. I really like his game. And from what I'm understanding, like, Brooklyn doesn't want DA. Like, if it's not starting with Book, it's kind of a non-starter, and I can understand that. DeAndre Ayton has no incentive to play nice with whatever Phoenix wants to do. And when you kind of look at what the roster construction of Brooklyn would be without Kevin and the people that they brought back, right? Like, if Kyrie is staying, and I know that the two of them have tethered themselves to each other in a sense, but I do agree with the idea that kind of no, they haven't either. If you're going to take Kevin for his word, which I get people don't be wanting to do, but, you know, he said on one of his most recent podcast episodes that, you know, whatever Kyrie does is independent of what he does. And so I'm operating under that assumption. And if Kyrie is back and they're serious about, like, being willing to be gone from Kevin, I think Miami, and I'm not just saying this as someone that covers Miami, I think Miami can field a really good package for them. Someone said something about, like, picks, right? Miami can offer somewhere up to like 7 to 8 picks with the combination of, like, pick swaps and just flat out picks. They can get OKC to unprotect their pick and push that protection back. Miami can put together a lot of stuff outside of Bam and Jimmy. I know KD and Bam have their relationship, right? But Bam can't go to Brooklyn because of the rookie extension designation for he and Ben. It said that KD wants to play with Jimmy, right? So moving Jimmy wouldn't make sense. And I think that even without moving either of those two, Miami can put together a package around. If they really, really wanted to throw all three of our shooters in there, we could. But you can build a package around a Kyle for, like, to back up a Kyrie. You throw Tyler in there. You give them Duncan Robinson. You have Ben Simmons locked in. So you need spacing around that. Put spacing around Ben. Put spacing around Kyrie. And, you know, kind of see what you can do. I understand that Kevin is Kevin, and that whatever they get back for him will be a pretty large haul. But this kind of idea that it's going to be, like, earth shattering and like really, really bank breaking for whatever team it is that has to give up their pieces, I disagree with. Right? Like, of the people that he's mentioned wanting to go to, other than them being one seeds, is this idea that they're, you know, not far off. And of course, KD is an incredible piece that pushes, you know, a lot of stuff over the top. But, like, I don't see KD or, like, wanting to gut or go into a situation in which he has gutted. Hopefully understanding what it is that he's trying to be playing for now, right? Like, I hope he's just really trying to, like, hoop and get him a ring. Jimmy deserves one. This idea that, like, with regards to player movement, I really appreciate what Dutch said, and I know 808 be 808, but I kind of appreciate a little bit what he said, or at least I understand what he kind of was coming from with, like, you know, people sounding like Republicans. Like, I get that, you know, we have to, and if you are, that's you. If that's, you know, that's the flag that you bear, you know, whatever. But, like, yeah, to Dutch's point, right? There has to be for the sanctity of a contract. But this idea that we can kind of treat professional, and I don't know, I'm of two minds of it. Like, I know that this is these people's job, but they're playing professional sports, and so we're trying to, like, beholden this thing that a lot of people, myself not to that extent, I played professionally overseas, but I wasn't in the W, so that's its own, a different well. But like these dudes kind of operate under their own like cognizance, under their own kind of control. And so yeah, there has to be something to the sanctity, like I said, of a contract. But like these dudes are gonna do what they want to do. You don't have a league without them. We're supposed to be in this era of like for the employee, for the worker, like take your rest, take your health, take all of these things serious. But we clown Kyrie, we clown guys for like staging the arena, shit like that. I get that it's not, I don't know, a mainstream concept or something.
She was cutting out. I was hoping she was going to come back in. Looks like she probably faded out of cell signal. We'll try to. You back with us?
Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
You cut out for like the last 15.
It's fine. I think that the players should be able to do kind of what it is that they want to do, and Joseph Tsai don't have to agree to anything that he doesn't want to agree to. Like we're not saying, or I don't think the consensus is, you trade Kevin for a bag of Skittles. But if there is an offer that satisfies, you, that satisfies him, that can make it good for all sides, then why not take it? There's no point in kind of just, in my opinion at least, there's no point in playing hard ass with this dude when y'all have put yourselves kind of in this position before and at your own kind of behest. If you moved all those pieces, if you moved Jared Allen and Spencer Dinwiddie and all these other guys and moves that you've made at the behest of these two people, well, then that's on you, right? And so I think at this point, I hope that Brooklyn is just like, kind of over the whole, like over the whole kind of experience. They have good young talent on their team, and like just go ahead and do it. Rip the Band-Aid off. Stop hamstringing these guys' progression on the bench, and go forward with some actual direction rather than kind of just staying to sit under this haze of woulda, coulda, shoulda, if this, if that. Man, let these dudes go and get back what you can get back for.
I love it. What you got a piece you want to share?
What you mean?
You got a written work you want to put up here? A podcast you're going to be on?
I can throw some podcast stuff up. No, I don't have anything written. I don't write too much. It's a lot to try to get stuff out of my head. I'm trying to do it better more often. But yeah, I'm with Miami Heat Beat. It's a group we cover Miami. I have my own show where I do kind of just film breakdowns. That's my thing. You can catch me on the timeline a lot, just talking about the game from a gameplay perspective. My show is called Needle to the Groove. You can search that on YouTube under the Heat Beat channel. So I'm around. I'm with Nat with Hoopstresses. I missed her block earlier. I can only what she was talking about. Me and her talked about this a little bit on the timeline, and I know she's a lawyer, and so I understand the perspective that she, brings from it. But I'm around.
Yeah, you cut out again. All right, Savon, ladies and gentlemen, the Hoopstresses Thursdays. Also, Miami Heat Beat. Shoot her a follow. What I appreciate is that no one interrupted. Thank you, everybody who was on stage, for allowing her to get her thoughts out, because I agree with the majority of what she said 100%. And then I agree with the rest of it, enough to say I don't have any rebuttal. I think it was phenomenal. Anybody else want to reply here real quick if you had a different point of view? Now's the time.
Well, I just think you can tell by the time that KD made this trade, if he really just wanted to go, he would do this 2 weeks prior to the fact. I still think he can be swayed to stay by doing certain things, because when the trade deadline starts, like 85% of those deals are pretty much done, made, and pretty much they just need to sign them. So I'm pretty sure he's able to be swayed to stay.
I agree with RTB. I mean, I was thinking about it as well, about stuff that made sense, that they'll go on with each other. And Kevin Durant, like, being persuaded to stay if they can get something to put around him, I think could make sense. Because I'm trying to figure out something that makes sense with him going to Phoenix or going to Miami. I feel like Miami's more suitable to get Donovan Mitchell. I just think it's more realistic in my eyes. But I agree with what RTB just said.
Okay,
And
Chris.
I
you
don't
want
want
if you
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, and I hope that's not what's happening. As a Miami fan, I know that like a lot of people want Donovan. I actually don't. I'm gonna try to throw some stuff here in the jumbotron that kind of talks about why I don't. But I get that if you're willing to gut it for Donovan, I think you got to be just as willing to gut it for.
and you have to find somebody desperate enough. Like the situation that KD in, yes, he's a great player, but this situation has never happened. A player of his magnitude at his age, so it's kind of hard to just what we can give for him. So that's the crazy thing about it. I just feel like they're gonna hold on to him and just seize what happened because nobody's desperate enough right now to just throw everything at him because the draft just happened. Like everybody's kind of feeling good about their team. Like it's nobody's just desperate right now. You have to do things like that, like during the season or towards the end after somebody had like a bad season. Like they're pretty people.
I'm gonna push on back on that a little bit. The desperation factor doesn't really take into play yet. The desperation factor would start only when the games are being played. Like this is the countdown. The more the clock counts down, the more potential, stress is added. Right now is the time to either go to KD and say, here is our plan for you. You can rock with this and we can build this together, and then maybe it works. Or if you're Sean Marks, and this is more of you need to know Sean Marks' style here. He is a builder. He's from the San Antonio mold. You take the best deal that allows you to build your principal idea of what your team should be, and you start over. Like that's the problem we're in. The issue with demand is that you have a one-time generational talent coming available in the draft. And the issue with demand is the two teams that have the best trade assets are in your division, right? If the Sixers and the Celtics are not in the division with the Nets, we aren't having this conversation. We're having the conversation of Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, three other young dudes, and 3 picks in a pick swap. Or we're having a conversation of Jaylen Brown and 2 younger dudes and 3 picks in a pick swap. So, like, to just say that there's any other force, the force hasn't even been applied yet. And I think we need to understand that and take a deep breath. I need to get KP in here. I've got something lined up for him. I've got plenty of hands up. I'm going to give some people their chances to get their last takes in. Denny's going to get his take in so we can get enough people up here. I want to thank everybody who's come through. It's been a phenomenal show so far. If you haven't ever been here before, that's okay. Like, thanks for finding us. Shoot us a follow. If you don't want to come up but you want to be involved, there's a chat box in the bottom right. Throw yourself in there and say what's up to the community. And if you want to come up, raise your hand. Up next, though, I got to get KP in here, and here he goes.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Hoop Spaces community. I've been saying this for a very long time. 11 months, I've been going strong. I've been going right, correct. Y'all didn't want to listen to me about Marvel. Y'all didn't want to listen to me about DC. Y'all didn't want to listen to me about the Knicks or New York City or any. Y'all don't want to listen to me about anything but the executive hater who I am, a.k.a. Derail Revis. Shout out to Jalen and Jacoby. I want my flowers, man. I heard a little birdie told me that the adjacent life, people giving up the adjacent life. Oh, my God. Guess who started that? I put a lot of trends on this app. I made people play sound effects. I made people get into deep, dark arguments and want to start blocking people. I did a lot of stuff on this here app, on an Android, mind you. And y'all had this app longer. Y'all had this feature longer than I have, and I made more of it. I'm a ceiling raiser, Shawn. Matter of fact, I'm a floor raiser, Chris, on this here app. Y'all was crying to me the other day. KP, why you don't respect KD? You should show him some more love because he was on the Warriors. And see what happened. That is never going to be happy. He just wanted. Matter of fact, I tweeted this yesterday and I said it a couple of times. He should have just got a political science degree. He don't like basketball. He just want to play. He not happy when he winning a championship. He not happy when he getting swept out the building. Y'all don't see a pattern here? He don't like something. He's not happy. He ain't never going to be happy. He's a wandering person. He just want to wander the earth. And y'all mad that Joe Tsai said, yo, I need control of my team back. I paid billions of dollars for this team. I paid money for the stadium. Matter of fact, I own the land. And you're going to tell me, the owner of the big website in China, what I'm going to do with my business? Are you kidding me? And y'all say they didn't give KD nothing. They just gave him a 4-year extension. Come on, man. Stop the madness. Brooklyn was never going to win. They was never going to turn up or do anything. I said this before. I say it again. He ain't that guy. He's a great ball player. After that, that's it. And you need more than just being great at ball to be a great ball player. You need more. You need in the intangible side that he never shown that he had. He was winning a championship. Oh man, I gotta get out of here. I gotta beat it. Woo! It's too much winning. It's too much. I'm getting a final. I got 2 finals MVPs, and we went to another championship. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna leave. I'm going to skedaddle. I'm going to go all 3,000 miles away to try to establish something with my best friend. And you know what happened? What they say, you never do business with friends and family. No, shout out to T-Mobile. You never do business with friends and family, and guess what happened? He found out the hard way. Leave Kyrie in the dirt, in the dust, not in the dirt, in the dust. But you know what happens? It's going to happen again. And whoever gets him, if you gut your team for KD, you're going to wind up just like the Brooklyn Nets are right now, in shambles. He left OKC in shambles. Good thing we got Steph. He didn't leave Golden State in shambles. He about to leave the Brooklyn Nets in shambles. I'm starting a petition right now, and I'm going to end on this because I have to get back to doing something. I'm going to start a petition right now. If anyone's looking for a side hustle, if you need some extra income, I will be on the corner on Atlantic and Flatbush Avenue giving out hard hats so we can tear down the Barclays Center. We can do it hand to hand. Like, what was the movie? Not Get Out, with Us. You know how they had the hand-to-hand thing at the end of Us? We're going to put our hard hats on, and we're going to surround the Barclays, and we're going to give it one big push, and we're going to knock that building over because we can turn that into a homeless shelter because there's a bunch of bums in there anyway. And I'm out. Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, the eminent hater, the executive hater, KP of KP Reviews. We've got my son's birthday's tomorrow, and we've got the holiday. But afterwards, because free agency is going to settle down, I'm going to get with KP so we can officially launch Spaces Reviews. It's an idea.
I'll say one last thing, Chris. Sunday, 8 p.m., we breaking down The Boys, episode 7, and the ending of Stranger Things. If you don't like that, sorry to hear that. If you do, come on through. We're going to have some fun. And there'll be no Brooklyn Nets slander in there, I promise. But I might lie and slander KD while I'm talking about Stranger Things. Vector ass.
So make sure you shoot him a follow. He does a great job breaking down and holding discussions on pop culture, music, movies. So make sure you follow him. And we'll be getting Space Reviews up and running. And I'll be doing food because, like, a lot of y'all think you have good palates. Like, I hear this every day. This is actually a negative on Twitter. I dislike having to be constantly exposed to people who believe that they have an actual refined palate, right? But then they want to come up here and show that they put ketchup on an uncooked hot dog. Like, we just ain't about that life here, all right? Like, stop. Denny, you've been waiting, man. I want you to get in here. Your thoughts on the Nets and Knicks, and also plug in your podcast you got on the Balls Life Network. I'm getting Maliika, Caleb, and 808s up here. Everybody else down below, I want to say thank you and welcome to Hoop Spaces. If you've liked what you heard so far, you should be hitting that follow button of the people up on the stage providing you this wonderful basketball discourse here on Hoop Spaces. Good morning.
Good afternoon, Chris. Good afternoon, everyone. This is NBA Whisperer, Sir Denny Blanco. Ball is life. It's in the game. Shout out to Randy Cruz. We do a podcast on there in Ball is Life. So thank you so much for giving me time, Chris. I appreciate it. Now, I just want to say I should have known better. Because I jumped on the Nets bandwagon when James Harden was there, and I said I envisioned this team going 5 years and winning some chips. I should have known better. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. That's how the song goes. And I'm just going through a couple of things I should have, it's going through messages in my head. Like when someone shows you who they are, believe them. James Harden showed me who he was and I believed him. I should have believed him, but I didn't. Kyrie saying, KD saying. Now we're talking about blame for the Nets. Start at the top, work your way down to the bottom. I totally agree with that concept. Unfortunately, the owner pays people to do a job. If the job is not being done, the owner has to pivot. So if I'm Cy and I'm looking at Kevin Durant, all these pieces I'm bringing in, Kyrie, and they're not even playing to the contract. Like people, I don't think a lot of people, and we mentioned the CBA earlier, but it's a little moot point for some strange reason. When you sign a contract to play 4 years, James Harden, you can't just pivot and say, I don't want to play here no more. Like, this is what's going to be a problem down the line. Whether you want to talk about NBA being a business or not, this is what was an issue at hand. Like, we're just talking about players just deciding not to play. Like, we have to break down, and I'll pass the mic over to, because obviously there are people waiting, so I don't want to take too long. But we have to understand, we have to start asking the right questions. Now, Kyrie and KD, what are you playing basketball for? Are you playing basketball just to play? Are you playing for the money? Are you playing for the rings? If it's just about playing, I understand, and then I'll throw everything else about the rings and everything. But these people, KD and Kyrie, they mention these things and they talk in circles. But as fans, as people that watch the NBA, it's like it's so confusing. We mentioned confusion over and over again during this time. Like, KD, what do you want? Do you want a championship? Because you had ability to win 4 or 5 with them in Golden State. That didn't work. You go over to Brooklyn. You're not going to hold it down and be the man that you're supposed to be in Brooklyn? So now you want to leave? It's like this DNA of this NBA play now. It is just poor. Love them to death. Love their ability. Love them. But when it comes to just sitting back and watching and analyzing, it's ridiculous. So shout out to everyone on the call today. Shout out to Chris, you doing a phenomenal job of what you're bringing. But Brooklyn Nets. I'm wearing my Kevin Durant jersey that I bought literally last year, and it's going to be worth nothing because he's now not going to be a Brooklyn net player. So I'm just nothing Cy could do. Sean Marks hasn't had a good vacation in like 3 to 4 years. Like he can't even just sit back and let the team cook. And I'll close it with this. This will be a good closer. Yes, I completely agree. The Knicks organization, from the time Leon Rose jumped on, has been making very, very strategic, smart moves. I cannot say that about Sean Marks. I give up my time.
Did you used to be a Knicks fan?
Both the Knicks fans open up their mic at the same time.
No, I'm asking him, did you used to be a Knicks fan?
No. Randy's a Knicks. Randy, my co-host on It's in the Game. Randy's a Knicks fan from like years, and I've always told him I'm an NBA fan. I don't want to pick a team, and he pinned me down 3 years ago. It's like pick a team or else, and that's like okay. I like what the Nets organization is doing early with the draft, with the picks, with KD and Kyrie and James. I said, you know what? I think I could ride with them and wave that flag. God damn it, I'm burning the flag this morning.
All right, you're welcome to come to the Knicks bandwagon if you want to, but if you left,
No. I left for a particular reason, and I accept that. I left the Knicks because
you used to be you're not welcome back. Stay over there.
I love the Knicks. I love the Knicks. Real quickly, I love the Knicks. I love what they do. I'm obviously born and raised in New York, so I love what they do. However, James Dolan and the management, prior to Leon Rose, has put me through so much pain and turmoil. I said I'm not even going to support them. Sidebar, I agree with everything Leon Rose is doing now going forward, which is establishing a new regime, which I applaud. So I can't just jump back on the Knicks bandwagon right now. I have to sit and sulk and deal with what the Knicks put me through. Right, exactly. I have integrity.
Wait.
I have integrity. So I'm gonna sit with the Brooklyn Nets. I'm gonna sit and deal with this bullshit until the Nets know what's going on and let the Knicks talk trash because they deserve it. The floor is yours.
I heard Oklahoma City could use some new fans.
Here we go. All right, Chris. You know what?
Point to me. That was funny. Thank you, everybody. Sir Denny, the NBA Whisperer on Ball is Life. Shoot a follow. Listen, leave a review. Take a download. This is what they need. Anybody who makes podcasts will tell you this is what they need for them to be successful. And really, it's for you to be successful as well, because you can only become better by varying viewpoints. If you stay in the same viewpoint, you never get better. You stay the same. Like, that's where I'm going here with that. As I word things funny sometimes is what some people tell me, and I still actually question that because I don't think I do. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, we're halfway through though, ladies and gentlemen, almost, and I needed to play some music here that's not sad music because I don't want to be sad. But I had a question for anybody on stage. Do you remember this?
You guys collectively as a team, just what do you feel like you need to improve on to reach that next level if you're just assessing some of the ways you post on this run, and Marcus as well?
I think just our level of poise at times, throughout this series and previous series, myself included, we taking care of the ball, things like that. But it's easy to look back and see and say all the things you could have done better.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was Jason Tatum after the finals was over. Does anybody remember that? We talked about that. We laughed about that here. And all we can talk about is Kevin Durant. I'm smiling. I'm laughing. I have tears of joy in my eyes. There's great basketball talk in the offseason that makes me happy. Taking a quick break from normal format here. The pickup card game is up here as a co-host. He hasn't said anything of note yet other than a hello. I want to make sure that we get his voice here involved as well. And I want to say thank you for being somebody who took a chance on an idea. I'd said this yesterday, and then somebody tweeted out that I should pin it, and I said, fine. I'm not good with social media. I just talk, right? But if you have an idea and haven't tried it, it's because you've told yourself you can't do it, right? It's hard to move from the idea into action. And this is what he's done. He created a game that's so simplistic that it will not fail. It combines his passion for basketball. It combines his passion for family. It will not fail. And he's took that leap, and he's been successful. And right now, he's in the midst of a summer tour across the country. Live from the Rucker, that's the pickup card game. You can get your copy over at slamgoods.com. $25. Seriously, pick it up. It's worth it. Good morning, Chi. How you doing? And what you got?
Good morning, Chris. Thank you so much for that. Good morning, everybody. It's a great, great Friday. I think yesterday was probably the most exciting day I've had in a very long time. First of all, salute to Leon Rose. I gave him lots of slander on this platform, but he got the job done, man. I mean, Mitchell Robinson re-signing, Jalen Brunson, Isaiah Hardenstein, nice pickup as a stretch five off the bench. Overall, I am happy. I think Knicks go in the right direction. Bigger picture wise, I love what Washington did. They got some good guards. They got what's the guy from Monte Morris from Denver, and they also got the free agent we talked about yesterday being a sleeper, being DeLon Wright as a really good backup point guard. So shouts to them. To me, like we've talked about, right, these guys are getting paid lots of money. I mean, all these extensions, the fact that John Morant is going from rookie deal to getting paid $50 million, that's pretty nuts. But the NBA is the NBA, right? It's a global sport. We should be proud that these guys have this platform to change their lives, change the lives of other people. So there's no hate from me. It's just like I'm in shock at these big numbers because this is like $250 million, right? This is lots of money to give a player to play basketball. So shout out to those guys. I hope they can find ways to allocate that cash back to community. I mean, I think there's a lot which can be done. I saw a few tweets about, looking at WNBA pay versus NBA pay, right? And that's really a stark difference. And so these are combos we have to have while still saying congrats to these guys and not trying to like really count their pocketbooks because they've earned this, but also means that, there's ways for the W to be as big as the NBA if things are done the right way. Last point here, I'll land my plane. Pickup card game. Like Chris said, we are definitely taking over. It's been a blessing. It's been kind of surreal, but it's all a blessing. I think people are seeing the hard work, seeing the our consistency, seeing how much we really care about the community. So we are at Rucker Park this weekend. I'll be at the WNBA All-Star Game in Chicago. I'll be at Nike Nationals for EYBL Groves. Then I'll be at the Las Vegas Summer League. So definitely, if you see me, shoot me a holler. I'll be around. You can't miss me. I'm a tall guy. But thank you, Chris, for your support. I'll be here talking, but I want folks to talk as well. I know lots of folks have their hands raised, so I'm trying to make sure that I give people their time. But I'm here, Chris. Appreciate you.
I've got something. I'm adding it in here. Like, I haven't seen this many happy Knicks fans since '93. The 93-94 season. This is the happiest I've seen y'all, and I am here for it. I am happy that you are happy because I'm not going to lie. I like the NBA better when the Knicks are good, and I think they are on.
Keep talking, Chris. Keep on talking.
But the Knicks have not re-signed the first draft pick in how many years? Right? Since
That
Charlie
is
Ward.
Charlie Ward,
Yeah.
1990s, and now
Charlie
we
Ward.
just signed Mitchell Robinson.
Exactly. It's been a long time, Chris. So it's kind of like a sigh of relief, not really like a happy. Like, okay, for once we've done things the seemingly right way. If Mitchell Robinson's a bust, he's a bust. But at least we've like developed a guy who wants to stay in New York, who wants to kind of be part of this culture. That's a win. That's a huge win because the Knicks have been really bad for a long time. Really bad.
All right, we've got some more Knicks fans down there, but I've got a couple people who haven't spoken yet. I want to make sure we get them in. What's up, Mo? All right, Mo might not know his mic is unmuted. We'll go with Drew first. What's up, Drew? It's been a minute. I'm happy you're able to come back after some glitching with Twitter. And if you glitch with Twitter, it's okay. Exit and come back in. And then after that, we're going to go to Casey to get a Houston Rockets perspective. Good morning, Drew.
What's up? What's up? Thank you for having me. Good morning. My take is more on the back end, looking at 35 Ventures and everything he did with Rich Kleiman in 2016, and just seeing the effect that that's had on his career and how, this funding that he's done with these companies and really planning for himself to become a billionaire has then now had this impact on his reputation. And I think that he is trying to save his reputation, whether that's going to Washington or figuring out something. I think this is a part of his career that's part of him becoming a billionaire. And I think that's something that needs to be talked about, from Nike to everyone else that he makes deals with, Coinbase, Whoop, it's hundreds of millions of dollars.
Man, he must have gotten a phone call. All right. Casey.
My bad. My phone did ring. But yeah, that was all I was going to say. In general, it's a lot of money that he's guaranteeing to people. It's investment for him to become a billionaire. 35 Ventures. I think that that's what's running the ship. And he seems to be the muscle behind 35 Ventures. So that's where I see everything.
All right. I like it. I think that's a great idea, a great point of view. Anybody want to add in anything before we move over here to Casey?
We got some breaking news, Chris. John Wall agrees to a 2-year deal with the Clippers, $13.2 million. The Clippers keep on adding more to that war chest, man. The team is deep.
Bro, you said 13? 13?
Yep,
Bro.
for two year.
I am so happy for John Wall. Like, I'm not I know Casey, he ain't played for you. I know other people are not happy for John Wall. I am happy for John Wall. There's a lot, one thing we need to understand is These players are people, and a lot of things happen in your life, right? Same thing happens in their life. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that it is not hard. I mean, it's not easy being told not to do what you love to do. And I speak from personal experience in this. The United States Army said, thank you for your service, but you can no longer serve. Like, it's taken me more than a decade, and I'm still not over that hurt, right? He was told to not do what he loves, despite doing everything everybody asked him to do to prove to him or them that he wanted to play basketball. That is what he's gone through sitting on Houston's bench. So, like,
well, Chris, to be fair, I believe it was a mutual understanding between the team and John Wall. Like, hey, if you don't really want to play for the Rockets, we don't think it's really best that you do play for the Rockets right now with the team that we have. So it was kind of like a mutual thing. But then he goes on IG and is like, oh, like, it's like free John Wall. It's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, y'all both agreed for you not to play. And
well,
plus, like, with his
that doesn't make it any better per se, though.
That didn't really work. It didn't really work that way, though, Casey. Like, that's what was said. But what it really was we're going in this direction, and we don't have a trade for you. You can either sit, or you can, go home, or you can sit on the bench,
or he can come off the bench. I think that was the option. He was like, I don't want to do that. Well, we're like, all right, well, like, you can't start.
He shouldn't. He's been a starter his entire career. Why would he come off the bench for the Rockets?
Like, I get that, bro. And first off, my bad, Chris. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just had to jump in with this John Wall thing because I was gonna touch on it anyway. I love John Wall. John Wall's like one of my favorite players in the league since he came up with the Wizards. So I love John Wall. Shout out to John Wall. But we were in a bad situation. We took on that big contract, and that's a hard contract to move. Like, it was just like it was hard to get a deal done. So it's kind of the way that the cookie just crumbled in this situation. But shout out to John Wall, bro. I'm happy for him to be on the Clippers.
Except that the reason why they came to this accord is because the owner refused to do a buyout, which everybody knew he was going to end up having to do anyway, because he wanted to wait to save an extra like $7 million.
Which, I mean, like,
that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's why like it might have come across of they mutually agreed, but I can assure you that's not the case.
Yeah, facts.
So like it's hard. So the fact that he's getting the extra money, kudos to him too. But I'm happy for him. We're gonna go to you though first, and we'll get Dime Dropper's response after you. He's a Clippers fan, and he's gonna be able to go in his bag on this. But Houston was linked to Paolo Banchero. Houston got Jabari Smith. You were making this youth movement with Jalen Green. What do you see so far for the Rockets and free agency? And what do you want to say for this whole Nets fiasco?
Oh, my goodness, Chris. Thank you so much for this opportunity, man. I love your spaces. You do a great job. You have an awesome show. So thank you for this opportunity. You're awesome, man. Keep doing you. Dude, these past like 2 weeks have just been absolutely insane. And it's been awesome for the Rockets. So coming into the draft, obviously everyone's looking at Banchero. That was like I had him like as a lock. I feel like that was, it was going to be like Jabari and Chet, or either Chet, Jabari, one or the other. And then we were going to get left with Banchero, which I was kind of fine with. And then like an hour before the draft, I think like Duke or something leaked a photo of him in a Magic jersey, and it was like, yo, wait, what's going on? And then obviously like we ended up with Jabari Smith, dude, and I could not be any happier. I think that was the best fit for our team anyway, and I thought it also was the best player, so it was like a win-win for the Rockets. And then man, I'm just so excited, dude. I love Jalen Green. I think some of y'all have probably heard me talk about Jalen Green and what I think of him. I think he's absolutely amazing. I got to see him in Houston. in person, and like it's just incredible, man. Like when I watch his game and what he can do, he's a true like 3-level scorer. He can score from anywhere. He can get by you. He's super quick. The only thing is his defense, which is why I love that we got Jabari Smith. I think this team is drastically different. You know, John Wall's gone. We shipped off Christian Wood. We have a lot of like a big weight off our shoulders. We can finally we have a clear path forward. And then when it comes to this whole Brooklyn situation, yo, shout out to Brooklyn, bro. Dude, y'all have really done it this time, bro. Y'all have got yourselves in a crazy situation, bro. But shout out to y'all for the picks, bro. Appreciate that. Y'all set us up for our future. And I see some people laughing, bro. Yo, the Rockets are coming. Like, we're coming, bro. In the next 5 years, I think like this team's for real gonna be a problem. And I see 808's laughing, bro. Like, I see you laughing.
Listen, brother. Listen. I've seen the front office before have these same exact picks and not draft anybody worth the damn. It's not matter whose the picks are. It's matter who's making the selections. So you don't like Raphael Stone? I have zero faith in any of y'all making any picks correctly over the next couple of years.
That is crazy, bro. Because that's your opinion. That's fine, but. No, I really think, dude, the Rockets, like KPJ, bro, this team is like a Şengün. Like, there's a lot of guys that y'all don't really know about yet that are serious hoopers, bro. And like, I know we've had the worst record, but we finally have a clear path forward. We have all these picks. Jalen Green is the fucking future, bro. I love that kid so much, dude. He's just one of the most amazing young players that I've ever seen. Like his game reminds me a lot of John Moran, except he's just a better 3-point shooter. He can catch and shoot, Like, it's just crazy, bro. So, like, I'm super excited. Chris, thank you so much for this opportunity. Brooklyn, it's going to be interesting what goes on there. I'm not really sure how. It's just a hard – like, it's just – they're hard players to move with Kyrie and KD. Like, it's just this trade is going to be crazier. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think he goes back to Brooklyn, though. But –
I've got some updates here. Zach LaVine. 5-year, $215 million max, 5th-year player option. Yusuf Nurkic. There was a fake account that got people fooled yesterday that said 4-year, 80. It wasn't 80. It was 4 years, which is a good deal to return to Portland. Danilo Gallinari is expected to be released from San Antonio with a buyout. And join the Boston Celtics. That's his first destination of choice. The Celtics, I think, are going to have to part ways with somebody if they want to bring him on at the salary he's going to request. All right. Yo.
We just not finna move on like that, bro. We not. I'm sorry.
What do you mean? Move on for what?
For the past 8 months, I've been telling y'all, day in and day out, Zach LaVine is a Chicago Bull. He's not going anywhere. These signing trades are fallacious. They're bullshit. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be a Bull in October. Everybody, oh, no, he's going to be a Laker. He's going to be here. He's going to be in Dallas. He's going to be a Spur. No. There's no stipulations in the contract. He has a player option. There's extra money in it as well. They sweetened the pot, man. Like, y'all really thought this man was going somewhere.
I didn't.
I know you didn't, but a lot of people did. I got the DMs, I got the screenshots, bro. I hope y'all have a great day because I know everybody in Chicago is.
I just traded for him in one of my fantasy leagues. I am really good, probably not to any of your surprises in fantasy basketball. I've got Garland, Ball, and this is all salary cap too. Really? Garland, Ball, LaVine, Bam, Mitchell Robinson, and DeJounte Murray. Patrick Williams and Jonathan Kuminga all under the cap, and I'll have $11 million to draft to finish out my roster.
Oh man, that's
smoke
actually,
everybody.
That's pretty good. Before we move on, real quick, if I speak to Bulls Nation, I see a lot of y'all melting over the fact that running the possibility of Danilo or whoever else they sign. Lonzo Ball played 35 games last season. That's all I have to say. I don't know what y'all want this team to do. They pull out Vucevic trade to get DeMar and LaVine to stay long term. They get Lonzo and Caruso. They get Andre Drummond, who was not arguably, he was the best backup big in the league last year before being traded away from Philadelphia. I don't know what y'all wanted these guys to do, but I'm a fan of what they did. I got a piece coming out on Sunday talking about it because I'm kind of tired of seeing people cry over nothing.
And they, you know what? I'll also say this for Chicago. That is the best deal that any of the max superstars is getting. Book got 224. Morant got 226. Or actually, I think it's like 213 with likely incentives that'll push it over to 226. Jokic got 264, which is the richest in history. Karl Anthony Towns got 224. And all of these guys, these are 5-year deals. Zach took a 5-year deal and left. This is great for Chicago. Like, if he stays healthy and Ball stays healthy, this is phenomenal. And I think we're going to have an entertaining 1 through 6 fight in the Eastern Conference. Let's see. We're going to go to Dime Dropper with the breaking news with John Wall to the Clippers. He also co-hosted a space with Maliika Walker on the Rewind, where they actually talked about Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. We got Brooklyn Netcast after him. Fabian PerspecTV. He's going to come up here to slam some Nets because he's a Knicks fan. And we got Waj, who's going to answer the question, is Mark Cuban broke? Dime Dropper, go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Chris, appreciate you. Shout out to everybody listening and all the speakers. I don't got much to say about John Wall because I already talked about him in the last space I was in with you here. We'll see how it works out. I'm more disappointed, honestly, that I got to see the backup center that I wanted to re-sign so badly go to New York yesterday. That really hurt, but I understand he has to do what's best for him, and he wanted to stay with the Clippers really bad. So I want to just give to the Knicks fans, I want to tell you what you're getting. Isaiah is awesome. He rebounds. He plays defense. He's got length. He is athletic, more athletic than he looks. He has an amazing push shot in the pick and roll, like automatic when he's inside the foul line, and he works so hard. I went to 20-plus games this year live, and I couldn't stop saying good stuff, Isaiah, because he really plays so hard. He's a perfect backup big, and I think you guys are going to love him in New York. I'm really disappointed that we couldn't keep him. But we'll see. If paying Wall $12 million for 2 years, like if we could have done something to keep Isaiah and not pay Wall at all, I would have been down for that. But you know what? We'll see how it goes. I am a John Wall fan, but this is a totally different John Wall. As far as the Nets, I have a lot to say about that, but I would rather listen to the Nets fans talk first and the Knicks fans. But oh my God, what a circus. I thought the Lakers circus was bad. It looks like a community fair compared to what was going on in the East Coast. And by the way, I also went live to talk about it last night with Fabian PerspecTV. That's about to talk right now. And my man, the Great. So check out what we said in full. We went really in depth about it on my YouTube channel. The link is in the Jumbotron. And I also talked about the John Wall move in depth. If you want to hear my analysis on that as a Clipper fan, it's also on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you like basketball history or just basketball in general, because I'll talk about your team at some point, even though I'm LA-centric. But appreciate you, Chris.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out why you over there with like a 3D printer in the background or something.
It was like a leaf blower or something. I'm at work.
All right, just checking. We're going to go to Fabian after Brooklyn Netcast because the Nets fans are here for their comeuppance. And I want to make sure that Caleb can get his say in here before Fabian goes in on the Nets because I think it's going to be hilarious. Caleb, we are here, man. Like if you
I need a violin, not the piano. You got a violin there?
No, I don't.
A sad violin? No.
Okay. I took it off to put on the Joker laugh.
Oh.
Sorry, you're just gonna have to deal with it, bro.
I can do a piano. That's fine. I'm upset about Bruce Brown. Yeah, that's why I'm upset. Bruce Brown's gone. I spent 4 months pushing his agenda, and he's gone. So a lot of hard work for nothing. No, on a real
Where'd he
note,
go? Where'd he go?
He went to Denver.
Denver, on a great deal too.
Great deal. That was outstanding by them. Well done by Denver.
Denver's gonna be a problem.
Huh?
Denver's going to be a problem if they're healthy.
Yeah, that's the thing. If they're healthy, I mean, I'm not as high in MPJ as some other people, but
yeah, all right, gotcha, cool.
Nets, man.
Gotcha.
Okay, talking Nets. I'm in a weird spot now because we don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know who he's traded to, what's going on, who's getting traded. Are we shipping everybody out? Only some people? Like, it's weird. Because this is like a waiting game. It's going to take a few days to unfold. And I think in like a week or so, we can come back and really get into depth about how everything is. But I really don't know because they're retooling currently. They're going to trade KD, Kyrie, maybe Joe. it's just like a weird spot because you have no idea what's going on, who's getting moved, who's staying, what's the plan here.
Do you know what we call that?
Huh?
You know what we call that?
What's that?
Welcome to NBA Purgatory.
Purgatory. There we go. Yeah, it's just I don't know what we're like. What's actually going on? So it's just like it's a waiting game for now. And it's kind of boring. I just wish we kind of like either you do everything you can to keep them, or you just go trade. And I understand the waiting game. They're probably going to get better packages, but this is going to be absurd. I mean, I imagine Kyrie and KD might get traded in the same trade with like, good Lord, 5 other teams. Like, this is going to be very interesting. I am very curious to see how this all plays out and if what happens, because I guess right now nobody really knows what's going on. And yeah, it's just it's a waiting game, I guess.
I think it's for you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm chilling for now. Like, I will see how I feel after what happens. That's where I'm at. Is I have no set like feeling on everything until I see, okay, what actually, like, in a week or so, like what's actually gone down, what's the final product of everything, free agency's kind of wrapping up. Like it's just kind of, yeah, I guess we just don't know what's going on, so it's kind of hard to talk at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. Like the GIF up top is for you. Want to give some shout outs?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I do. I have no idea.
77 Spaces had a dope show last night. Rolo, Papi Chulo, Jazz. Edwin Garcia, LakersTakes.com, is in the building. He does great work covering the Lakers, as well as working with Petty in the Post, one of the best Lakers follows you can have here on Twitter. And yes, I said there are good Lakers follows. There really are. Like, you just have to. What was
I'm
that?
sorry, I had some catfish in my throat. Sorry.
Point.
That's amazing.
Man, that was good. But, going back to the Nets, we all should have realized this after J Fraud.
I knew it. Yes, I knew you were going to say that. Okay. I'm going to blame him for everything. It's not Sai's fault, not Mark's, not KD, not Kyrie, not James Harden, not Joe Harris. We're blaming J Fraud. This is all because of him. Ever since he left, it's been a downslide. So we're going to put this all on him for now, and we're gonna hunt him down. We're going to make him fix it all.
We've been down here ever since.
He's been gone for what now? A month and a half? It's been
I ain't heard that name in a minute, man. Y'all
He's coming back. He's probably in the room right now listening.
Oh, he definitely is. We got to find the burner. Who does somebody? Portland signed somebody. But yeah, he's definitely here. Oh, Drew Eubanks. No one cares.
It's J-Rod with a 0 instead of an O.
Hey, Eubanks did great for Portland.
I'm sorry, but I don't care enough about Drew Eubanks for 1 year.
But you care about Killian Hayes. Jesus Christ.
Right?
Oh,
no, H is on fire. Fabian,
give him a point. Where's the point? Give him a point. That was solid.
Get in here, Fabian, and save Brooklyn Netcast, man. Like 808s he's in his wheelhouse, man. He's hitting the heavy bag.
I just found it. I don't know if I use the word irony wrong a lot, Chris. I think grammatically speaking, but in this case, I can't believe you guys brought up the word fraud. How dare you? How can you? Do you not understand? Kyrie was the first fraud with the Brooklyn Nets that you guys signed. KD was signed along with him. Big fraud. By the way, Chris, you said something earlier that was very poignant when you were speaking about the pickup slam card game, because you said all ideas are great, but it's when you put it into action, something to that effect, where that's the hard part, And speaking of ideas, the Nets have no idea what the hell they're doing, and neither did Kyrie. This is the most frustrating thing. It's been 3 years. I've been waiting for this, Chris. I've never been right about anything more in my life than KD and Kyrie not going to work. I have it all. It's all documented. I've been saying it for 3 years. Are you sure you want KD and Kyrie on the same team? I don't. I'll take KD, but not with Kyrie. And I just can't believe that we're going off. Sean Marks does deserve blame, and Joseph Tsai does deserve blame. But because they should have never let Kyrie lead the team like that. This is hilarious. What made it worse was that he called us irrelevant. Irrelevant. I hope Malika's not here. If she's here, Maliika, close your ears. She's the only Nets fan I care about not hurting. Not hurting. but we gotta drop a bing bong bomb on Netcast. Oh, Pawthorne, where's he at? Quiet. Everything
Wait a
talking.
minute, Fabi. What I
Hey,
do?
man, Pawthorne switched up. Nick
Get
fans
yo,
went to
Netcast.
Netcast.
You gotta
Netcast was
listen.
catching strays in the lives
In
last
New
night.
York, and this is what happens in New York. You don't talk shit, and this is what happens to you. You don't talk to us. The Nets.
I've never. I'm definitely from I'm from Wyoming. You're correct, Wyoming.
Wyoming, what the fuck?
And he's a
No, I'm
Nets
fucking
fan.
with
I
you.
mean, shit,
Leave him
Buffalo might
alone.
as well be Wyoming, bro.
I'm clearly
What is
not
wrong
from
with this guy?
Wyoming.
Bro,
Wyoming. Nets fans have Wyoming fans.
to be
That's what's
fair,
wrong
From
with you.
Wyoming, it was a
New York,
joke, bozo.
everybody outside of New York.
Nobody's from Wyoming. Nobody
Wyoming.
lives in Wyoming.
Yo,
I
what
never
Wyoming
met
have?
What's the
anybody from
closest
Wyoming.
team?
Oh, see, like we devolved, and the closest team, by the way, is Sacramento Kings. We've devolved into calling somebody from Buffalo, Wyoming. I am not going to allow that to stand for the great city of Buffalo, New York. I got stuck on the side of the road with lake effect snow, and like no lie, the people who lived there, and I was used to lake effect snow. I knew the storm was coming. I was trying to get back to Fort Drum. They came out and they helped us. Like they gave us water, and food.
It's a city of good neighbors, man.
So
Best
they,
city
Hey, yo, call it
around.
Buffalo, Wyoming. It's such an elitist statement.
Oh, I'm the one that called Buffalo, Wyoming. Wait a minute.
Fabian,
Oh yeah, see, yo, Chris, that wasn't my fault. He said
Yeah,
I'm
I
from
said it
Wyoming.
as a joke.
Hey,
In
Buffalo
places
was
like
Canada
Wyoming.
before it was New York.
You might as well be from Wyoming today. This is horrible. This is the Nets. This is the dumbest thing we've seen in a long time. Two superstars. You outdid Sam Presti for the worst move ever in the history, at least the 21st century. Brooklyn Nets cast. You deserve all these bars, all this smoke. Where is Pawthorne? He is the biggest shit talker, Chris. Flatbush Avenue. What KP said he
That's
was
the
selling
point,
over there?
Chris.
Pawthorne actually has to unblock people to tell people that he was right.
He blocked. He's soft. He's soft. Fuck New York.
Soft as a grape, Anthony. You hear this? You
Fuck
see
New
it,
York.
man?
There we go. Me and Fabi
All
agree.
year long, they've been talking. We're gonna do this. Swept in the first round. Let's not forget this. They got swept, and then this horrendous. You guys are horrendous. The
There's too many
epitome.
New Yorkers
This is
up here.
Knicks life. This is great. 808s, how you doing? We're in a great space here in the Eastern Conference. Not these
Hey,
guys.
Fabian, listen, bro. We looking good, but we're looking at second round appearances. Possibly, we could make a run. I don't know. The Nets, listen, man. The Rockets own their future.
Listen, I don't even believe what you just said, 808s, but it's all possible now because the Nets are horrendous. This is wonderful. I'm taking victory laps. I'm in Brooklyn right now, middle of Brownsville. Let's do it, guys. Brooklyn Nets cast. Go call your man Pawthorne up so you get this smoke.
I hate Pawthorne more than you do.
I've been in Brooklyn in like 3 weeks, yo.
Wait a minute. I hate Pawthorne more than you do. We're
Hey,
not
yo,
gonna.
and we
That's
outside?
not my man.
Oh,
Wait
I'm
a
We always outside with Anthony eating Pop-Tarts and shit. Two fan bases are apoplectic right now. The Dallas Mavericks and the Miami Heat. We're going to talk about the Dallas Mavericks real quick with Waj, because I have no idea what Cuban is doing. Waj, why is Cuban being cheap? What's up?
Good morning, Chris. Want to say thanks for another great Spaces. Coming from you on a family vacation out in the Pacific Northwest. I was in North Cascades National Park yesterday when all this madness was going down. So my kid was killing me for no internet access. Cuban, I don't know what he's doing. He's got a leaky roof that finally got fixed. Didn't want to spend the money on Brunson, but I'll tell you what, I think the Knicks overpaid for him. Don't get me wrong, I love JB. He was a great, scrappy guy. I think he's a little undersized. He got exposed in the Golden State series. But look, I trust Nico. I trust Kid. So I'm willing to be patient with them. I think that they need to grow the team organically. And kind of commenting on all this madness this morning, congratulations to the Knicks. They got a great player in Jalen Brunson, even though they overpaid. Condolences to the Nets. Your organization let the inmates run the asylum, and now you're reaping the results of that. We were in one of those gift shops here in Seattle, and my kid, being an NBA fan, saw the Seattle Sonics KD jersey. He asked for that. I said, hell no, I ain't paying $84 for that jersey. So I got him the T-shirt instead. You know, KD played for Texas, so my sister went to UT. Always had a little soft spot for him. I feel bad that he's getting a lot of the blame today for just a bad situation. And I think it's the organization's fault. You know, again, I feel bad for Nets fans. They went from being a title contender now to being a huge train wreck. It's just it's fun being an NBA fan because the off season is never boring. But hey, one thing about Cuban, though, let's give him props for his new a discounted drug company. You'll have to forgive me, I forgot the name of it, but he's selling pharmaceuticals at heavily discounted prices, and he's helping out the people. So that's the one thing for Cuban. He'll do something, like let Nash walk and not signing JB, but then he'll turn around and do something good for the people. So I can't get mad at Cubes. He's my boy. Like I said, I trust in the process.
Hey, yo, Waj, can I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
If that's the case, maybe he should go take down Big Pharma and start trying to run $1 billion basketball team. Let's keep it a buck.
It's
come on.
Cost Plus, by the way. Cost Plus is the name of the business.
Yeah, and and Cubes, he's always got his fingers in different buckets, and with Shark Tank, with some other things, and so he's always going to do his thing. And as a Mavs fan, I get mad at some of the stuff he's done, but he's done more good than bad for us. So I'm willing to give him and Nico and Kid some more time. And like I said, I'd rather them grow the organization organically than trying to build a super team like they did with the Nets and just having it all blow up in your face. And I think that's the balance. Going back, the NBA a long time ago, going back to the 80s, decided that, hey, we're going to put superstars to drive our league, where the NFL said, no individual players bigger than the team. If you think about the NFL, when was the last time a player held out and was successful? Maybe Emmitt Smith in '93.
There's been plenty of players. That's why they created the franchise tag and the transition tag. They actually legislated that out of the game. Like that's and that's actually what's probably going to happen in the NBA. It's going to make free agency worse.
Exactly, and that's a shame because and that brought up some great points earlier, looking from the legal point of view. And so that's some of the ramifications of what's happening now. Now, is it KD's fault entirely? No, because it's was happening well before he did it. But when a player of that magnitude, does what he does, that gravitational pull and the ripples, go throughout the league. So, but again, I can't blame KD because it was a bad situation. It just, the optics of it don't look very good based on his past. So, hey, the NBA offseason, man, it's a drama. It's crazy, and you gotta enjoy it. So, Chris, again, thanks for a great show, and really enjoying all the discussion back and forth.
Waj, don't you do that, Waj. You can blame KD. Well, by the way, Waj, I heard that.
Hold on, Waj. We don't let you.
I heard. Listen, Waj, I heard that Mark Cuban is a rumor that he holds job openings for the Mavericks, like Shark Tank style, and that's why he can't hire nobody. But in all seriousness, Waj,
Wait,
hold on. We're not gonna let Waj get away with saying that paying Jalen Brunson $26.5 million a year is overpay, because it's not.
It's
not by the league standards, and not with this new TV money. We're not gonna sit.
Well, let me defend that statement. I think for the Mavs to pay him that much, it would have been detrimental. Because when you have a ball,
if they allow the Mavs to continue giving him an offer and actually let him give him an offer, Brunson, what's his name? Cuban would give him up to $29 million. He would have done whatever he can to keep him there, but he just didn't want to be a Mav anymore.
Well, yeah, I think that's the case. Well, the Mavs had a chance to sign him in the offseason and again at the trade deadline, and they didn't. And so part of this is on them. But again, when you've got a ball-dominant player like Luka, it's hard for Luka and Brunson to play together at the same time. So it was one of those situations where it's almost like when Nash left and thrived in Phoenix once he got away from Dirk, and Dirk thrived as well. Sometimes you have two players in the same team that can't coexist because their potential. Now, I love JB. He's a scrappy player. He's a great player. The Mavs were lucky to get him in the second round when they drafted him in that draft with Luka. So, all props to him. Congratulations. I never will get down on someone for getting the money. Go after the money. Get your dollars while you can. So I hope them all a success. And I'm with Chris. When the Knicks are good, it's better for the league. And so I kind of think the same thing with my Cowboys. And the Cowboys are good is better for the NFL, but we won't start that discussion.
Well,
there are a lot of parallels between the Knicks and the.
See, I knew that was going to happen. So that's a preemptive mute. Too easy, y'all. Y'all make it too easy sometimes. I knew that was going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, like when the mute is on, only the host and the co-host are able to talk. So we're going to have a lovely conversation if the pickup card game is here. And I urge everybody to the pickup card game, Google and Slam Goods, right? Like real simple. Peace out, Wash. Pickup card game, Google Slam Goods, and like magically in your brain it'll pop up. What is your takeaway so far of this show, man? It's been wild.
Yeah, I mean, my takeaway is, I think Brooklyn Nets have shown us that, I mean, sometimes you can't let players have too much control. I think that's my main takeaway, man. Like the Nets let freaking Kyrie and KD pick their coach. I think someone mentioned how the Nets had Ime Udoka on their bench or hired him as assistant coach, but he could have been a great head coach for them. He could help those guys in a big way. So it's interesting how I think we're seeing more that you can't let players have too much control because they can always walk away from you. And even though we talked about them being on a contract and what that means, but I mean, these are individuals. They have free choice, free reign to make their choices, and that's what happens. And so that's my takeaway, Chris.
And let's actually talk real quick about business philosophy, because I think part of this is being left out in this discussion. If you were a GM, what do you think you would try to explain your philosophy as? Right? That's what I want everybody to think about. And I'm asking Pickup Card Game because he is essentially a GM. So this is something he lives every day, that he wakes up and breathes and works life into the Pickup Card Game. Your thoughts on that, and then we'll get Dime Drop in here for his thoughts, because I think listening to two different sides of age here, one with experience and one with actual youthful vigor, if we would use that term. What are your thoughts, Pickup, about your organizational philosophy? And then we'll go to Dime Dropping next. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I think for me, I think you want people who are passionate about what they do, right? So for me, my company, I want people who are passionate about making an impact. And that's like our North Star. So for me as an NBA GM, I want guys who are going to be passionate about playing basketball, and that's like their main focus. It's great to have a lot of things which you do. I think guys should be multifaceted. Guys should also know that their main job is playing basketball. So for me, that'll be what I will look for, and I'll make sure that during interviews, during the whole recruitment process, that I see that if a guy for me isn't coming to practice and play basketball every single day, isn't spending their free time watching tape, isn't calling a coach and asking a coach questions, right? If a guy's not doing that, he's not for my basketball team. So I think I'll make that be my number one thing, right? You have to breathe and love the game of basketball to be on my team.
All right, I love it. Dime Dropper, you have a different perspective. I tried to sit back and remember, what it was like 15 years ago for me, right? It's actually not easy. As you get older, you think it's easier, but believe it or not, your mind plays a trick on you, and it makes you look at your own history with rose-colored glasses, right? So it's hard to actually have an objective, affirmative approach to what you were or how you thought 15 years ago. Most people are not built with that ability. That's why sometimes when we look in our regular life, there's a cultural disconnect, but there's an age disconnect. And it's because we don't talk and we don't listen to the people who are of different ages. Same applies to 808s as well, because he's younger than I am, right? That is how communication works, and that's another example of what Spaces provides as a power in a positive way to use it. Instead of breaking people down, we can listen and build people up. Dime Dropper, what are your thoughts on organizational philosophy? 808s has his hands up. We got other people who are getting ready to come up. Got about another 14 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Then I need to get some cleaning done to get ready for some family. Dime Dropper, your thoughts on organizational philosophy?
Well, organizational philosophy, I know it's cliche, but it all starts from the top. You need an owner with a vision that wants to win. More than anything, wants to win. Now, winning the right way, that can be debated based on the fan. I know Fabian and I always have these talks about what winning the right way means. But at the end of the day, winning at all costs. And then hiring the right people to do their jobs. GM, a good head coach. That's it. I mean, I've been on both sides of the coin where I had a team that was held hostage, my team, by a racist slumlord for so many years. And felt like there was no way out. And thankfully, V. Stiviano, one of the greatest women on the earth, that TMZ clip changed my damn life. And I knew when Steve Ballmer took over, everything was going to change. And everything has changed. Because you look at these players, man, even Isaiah Hardenstein, who just went to the Knicks, he didn't want to leave. These people don't want to leave. They want to be here for the long haul. They love what we're building. It doesn't hurt to have the great Jerry West behind the scenes. So just hiring the right people, that's my organizational philosophy. And don't panic too much. And here's the thing. I would say don't sell out for one player so much, but you need those guys to win championships. So you need the Kevin Durant to those to win championship. And this is the line, though, Chris, in today's NBA that we're teetering. It's a very slippery slope, what we talked about yesterday. And that is the player empowerment era. It's really the star empowerment era. How much power do you give these stars, and how much do you just say, screw it, we're the front office, we're going to do our jobs, but then you don't want to piss them off? It's just it's very hard right now with the way things are. You saw with Pelinka and LeBron and on all the controversy last year around the Westbrook move, and now this year with all the things that the Nets did. So it's very tough, and that part is a new thing, a new chapter of NBA history, balancing that line. So that's where I have to go with that.
So, Chris, aren't you shocked that the Nets, and I'm swear I'm not trying to harp on this, but I'm shocked that the Nets are ran by a tech billionaire, and Sean Marks, I mean, his reputation is great. I would have thought that they would have prevented any of these things by any measure. That's really what scared me a little bit about the Nets when they actually acquired and signed, KD and Kyrie. So I don't know if they really, I guess they got away from their philosophy, going to Dime's point and your point. But, Dime knows me. I'm a suffering Knicks fan, but I'd still rather have continuity, chemistry, fit over any superstar, because that's going to last a lifetime.
All right. You got a phone call? You got a phone call.
No, I thought I could stop there on a high. I'm sorry.
All right, cool. I like that. Appreciate it. We got two people up who haven't spoken yet, and another one who's returning. We will go first to Beyond the Locker Room, and then we will go second to Michael Pevia, right? Yeah. All right. What's up, Beyond the Locker Room? How you doing?
I'm good, Chris. How you doing, man?
I'm not gonna lie. I said this over a week ago. That KD to Philly would be the greatest soap opera, and people thought I was joking.
That's true. I remember you saying so. Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't joking. People were like, "Oh, that's not gonna happen." And I'm like, "All right, well, okay."
Folks act like this is not the NBA, man. Anything's possible in the NBA.
Insane. And there's other things I've been right about too. I just haven't brought up because this whole KD thing has been
right. Exactly. It's just absorbed everything.
It's such a whale. It's a whale. I love it.
It is. Oh man. So I just to kind of follow up on some points that made. The last point about the star empowerment area. Honestly, this isn't nothing new in the NBA. You can go back to Wilt Chamberlain asking for a trade. or Jabbar or Shaq or Moses Malone to some extent or Carmelo Anthony. It's always been the case. And to your point, Chris, I don't think a franchise tag will ever work in the NBA because for the very reason that was mentioned in the previous call, you don't want to piss dudes off because if you have a franchise tag and you apply it to the NBA, the first guy you put a franchise tag on that was one of these upper crust type of players, the word's out. And everyone's saying, like, we're not messing with this team. Right? And that kind of ties into some of the points you made earlier. I'm so glad you mentioned the John Wall situation because once again, everyone wants to kind of shoot arrows at, Kyrie and KD and deservedly so. I think someone mentioned the KD part of it. I totally agree with that. He's never had leadership skills. That's been from day one. He let Westbrook run the team and then kind of shrugged his shoulders. And then he went to Golden State. He had proper leadership there, so he's good, but still wasn't happy. So then he went here to Brooklyn and let Kyrie run things. So this pattern is always going to be the case. It's not a coincidence he's running the Phoenix or because they have good culture. In this case, they have strong leadership in their franchises. Going to, Kyrie's Kyrie, I'm not going to go with that one. But the ownership side of things doesn't get spoken to enough because, to your point, John Wall, I'm sure, want to play. I'm sure Al Horford wanted to play. I mean, right now, what Oklahoma City is doing right now with SGA right now, no one's even talking about. That dude's 24 and literally played 2 seasons with OKC at 24. Right? But everyone wants to jump on the player in this case when he wants out. So if I'm a KD standpoint and just looking at his perspective, why am I going to sit here in Brooklyn in this case here for a team that might be at best a little over mediocre with just me and a bunch of parts? Because as some Brooklyn fans said, and they know their team better than me, I'm sure Josiah would be quite happy having KD holding down the gate and he making a ton of money. As you mentioned before, the big, huge, golden goose or golden eggs coming in about 2 years, that $75 to $80 billion TV contract. And if you think guys aren't trying to win now, you should see what ownership's going to do once they get money in their pocket. Because only a few months ago, they had an article in this case, I can't remember which company had it, but when the lockout happened with baseball, they had an article talking about how half the ownership in baseball are literally not trying to win. They're good. They get their TV money, they get their money for wherever else, and they're fine. So you can imagine the NBA, when they get a $75 billion TV contract, the gambling just triggered in this case here. I think right now already a third in the league doesn't try to win. So I don't blame any player sitting here because they don't want to be in the situation that LeBron had about a decade ago, where what's his name's eating up all the money, Gilbert. He's having a good old time, putting a bunch of spare parts around LeBron, winning 60 games, and really not having a chance to win a championship, and LeBron's best years being wasted. So all these dudes here talking about, I'm with my team, I'm staying loyal to my team. We'll see in a few years. I'll wait 3 years to see how Giannis feels about that then. We'll see. All I'm going to say is these guys do what they want, and they use these players up like it's the Matrix, and they'll bleed them out when they're ready to do it. They'll just keep sucking them dry. So the John Walls of the world in this case here, who arguably was still the best player on Houston last year if he played, they don't want to win. Fertitta already told you so. When the COVID was happening, he was literally losing money left, right, and center because he's in the gambling, he's in the casino industry and stuff like that. So he don't care about that. He just want to make his money. So I'm just sitting here watching this. And I'm like, you know what? They can try what they want. Next collective bargaining agreement, it won't work because the fact is these players have way too much leverage, and this even ties to Dallas. I'm a Mavericks guy from a Western Conference standpoint from the time as a youngster. Roll Blackman, those boys. So I'm not some like bandwagon thing in this case here. Mark Cuban killed himself 3-4 years ago when he started talking nonsense about European players in this case here. How much, how they don't listen to loud music and stuff like that. You remember those comments and the Trayvon Martin comments? You notice how no player in this case has really gone to Dallas as a free agent? It ain't a coincidence, guys. It ain't a coincidence. They used Dallas. They had to use the Knicks as leverage for the Western Conference teams. That's all. Anyways, that's my point. I'm out, man. Chris, keep doing your thing, man.
Appreciate it. Plug your next episode.
Me, I honestly, I don't have any episodes in this case here. I just enjoy listening to you guys. I kind of called it a day with that, but I appreciate what you guys do, man. Take care, man.
Cool. Appreciate coming in and sharing and offering your perspective. I've got 109. I got time for about 6 more minutes. Dime, go ahead. We'll bring in Michael after you.
Just real quick. All I wanted to say was I personally disagree that this is nothing different. We need to understand that when Wilt Chamberlain requested a trade in '68 to the Lakers, yes, he did get what he wanted, but there was no free agency back then. Oscar Robertson sat in front of a courtroom and got laughed at for making maybe not even a 20th of what Jalen Brunson is making now in front of everybody. So we have to remember at that time, especially if you talk about like the 60s Hawks, there was a lot of racism going on, and they were really lowballing players. And obviously they had the ABA as competition and all that. We're in a totally different world now. I understand. I agree that, stars have always used their power to do certain things, but without free agency, it's a whole different world. That's all I got to say.
But Durant's situation is not a free agency thing. It's the same situation. He's under contract.
Correct, but he chose to go to Brooklyn when he was a free agent.
Exactly. He chose to go to Brooklyn, and just like those guys, fair enough. You choose that you're drafted in this case here. When a player's unhappy and they want to go, they want to go. I mean, we can keep going up the decades in this case here, but that scenario still plays out. If a superstar is unhappy,
we have a trade.
Exactly. You're going to.
No. We literally have a trade.
Oh, we have a trade. Okay, sorry.
The Atlanta Hawks have traded Kevin Huerter, Red Velvet, Fear the Turtle, University of Maryland's own College Park, to the Sacramento Kings for Justin Holiday, Mo Harkless, and a future first-round pick.
Man, you interrupted us for that?
Well, that's because there's a joke that people are laughing at that they get because I am a University of Maryland fan, and people say that I work for the Sacramento Kings.
I do like Herder though, but I'll leave it at that.
Let's see. Michael, you're up next. Jose Jordan's here to respond from earlier. Before you go, real quick, Michael, I want to shout out another dope content creator. Zach Ramey's in the building, ladies and gentlemen. The Off the Glass podcast. You need to check it out. Like, if you like what you hear now and you say, oh, I like this objective basketball talk, there's not a lot of yelling, this isn't first take, and you like it, you're going to love the Off the Glass podcast because, it's just basketball. That's it. No gimmicks, no pushing a narrative, no made-up controversy. It's just yo, Denver's really good. I think I'm going to do an episode on Denver, and then he breaks down Denver in a way that is phenomenal, articulate, and proves the fact that he is really knowledgeable in the world of basketball. So make sure you shoot him a follow. Michael, you're up. What do you got for us today? Cuban. That's all. I don't get it. I've said this before. It's like a bad relationship. Boggles my mind. Go ahead, Michael. Floor is yours.
Man, it's good to be back on one of you. I hope the kids do well and everything. Always praying for your blessings, man. But hope everybody's doing all right. Happy early 4th of July weekend. I got grill duty at my job today for early barbecue. So, hey, any tips, I'll take them. But for Mark Cuban, man, I hear all the stuff, and I don't disagree with it all the way too much, whether he's being cheap or he's stubborn or who just made the comment, like maybe he's the reason why free agents aren't coming to Dallas. I'm not even going to disagree with that, man. I wholeheartedly actually agree with it. But when we start dating, I've seen, Mark take a different approach to being an owner this year. He's given complete control to Nico. He's given complete control. He's running everything, and Mark has said that 10 times. And on the presser, the introductory presser for Nico and Jason, he said that as well. And Nico's running everything. So I'm not going to get upset because he didn't want to pay all-star money to a guy who's never come close to an all-star. I'm not going to get mad at the league a lot more than me and a lot more than other people. But it's just, it kind of irritates me when we keep saying, oh, mark this, mark that, mark this, mark that. Mark's not the one that writes the contract. Nico is. Michael Finley is. They're the one that get the parameters together. They're the one that sit down with an agent. They're the ones that are making the decision. So if Nico says, I don't see Jalen Brunson as a $25 million per year player, it could either be the right decision or the wrong decision. And we'll take a couple of years to see if that was the right or wrong decision. I think it's going to end up being right only because he's going to New York and it's not really a good fit right now. There's zero spacing on the Knicks. So let's see what the Knicks become, other roster moves, all that stuff. We'll see. And that's what I wanted to say. But my other thing when it comes to the free agency thing, I'm not entirely sure, what if it's like a race thing? Like, who's trying to play second fiddle to a white guy? Is that something that's been on my mind? Nikola Jokic just won back-to-back MVPs. No one's knocking on Denver's door to play. Lemon didn't list Denver as a place he wanted to go. DeAndre Ayton doesn't want to go to Denver. Nobody wants to go play second fiddle to a white guy. Maybe that's a demographic that I've thought about, and maybe that's a real thing. Maybe Dallas's bet at getting a number 2 is getting Nikola Jokic because him and Luka are like best friends because of the Euro stuff. But I haven't seen any African Americans say, man, I want Denver. Man, I want Dallas. I've seen them say LA, LeBron James, AD, Miami, Jimmy Butler, Milwaukee, Giannis, Philadelphia, stuff. So, I mean, I really hope y'all hear me out on that, and maybe that's another thought that could be used. But that's all I got to say, Chris.
Yeah, it's come up before in a couple of other spaces. I think the issue is one of prominence versus color of skin. Both Luka and Jokic are prominent in their offense. Like they're omnipresent. They are there, always will be there. They are the offense. And generally speaking, players who are star level don't like that. Right? Like stars weren't lining up to play with LeBron. LeBron had to recruit. He actually had to grow as a person to become the leader to recruit the stars. Otherwise, people would have started flocking to him after his rookie year because he was doing things in his rookie year that we hadn't seen until Zion, and then prior to that, who? MJ? So like it took time to mature, and what I think we see from Jokic is he is maturing a bit, and people do want to come play with him. The issue is they already chosen 2 of their own to be their stars to go with Jokic. So no other player is going to say, I want to be with Jokic unless Jokic says, I want that player. Like it's the echelon of star level, right? And Luka is there too. Like there are players who want to play with Luka. There absolutely are players that want to play with Luka. But like there are players who want to have the same role as Luka. And I don't want to say that it's because of race. It's because they want that game. They want that same legit status. They want that heliocentricity. They want the 30 to 43% usage rate, right? Like that's kind of where we've been trending, in my opinion, due to AAU and what we should actually call like selective AAU. And I think if like Zach could pop up, he could give you an explanation of what I mean by selective AAU. Like these top players, they're not even playing regular AAU any longer. Like they created their own AAU bubble within AAU. And that has trickled in now into the league. Like what we're seeing now, people like Zach and I started talking about a decade plus ago, and we were laughed at. Like that's what we're seeing, and it goes hand in hand. It coincides with the player empowerment era because we are empowering them through this selective AAU process, through all this selective recruiting in college to make sure that you go to Duke, to make sure you go to North Carolina, to make sure you go to Villanova, to make sure you go to these blue blood schools. Like the problem is we modeled it after the best successful sports model, which is the NFL. And we've turned it into, more of a factory. And instead of building a solid, complete human being, it seems oftentimes like we've pushed these players into a status of where they have to always be, quote, on. And I think like we see it a little bit with Jason Tatum, and then people hopped on Jason Tatum because he's sending a message to Kobe. Hey, like, no offense to y'all, my mother has passed away. I send messages to my mom. Like, if you care about somebody that deeply and you had a relationship, that ain't wrong. It's actually normal. So, like, why are we so worried about that? And it's because that's how we've moved as a sport and a culture. Yassi Gazem's popped in. I put 2 of his tweets up here, and like I did this so I could tell you this. He is a must follow. Like the dude is straight legit. He does nothing but facts. And like all these trades that go through, that's fine. We talk about it. But like he breaks it down. He gives you the cap hit that the contract has, the players pay, and like literally does it within 2 minutes of almost every trade. Like, if you haven't shot him a follow, like, it boggles my mind. Jordan, pop up here. Give your reply back from earlier, and we'll get ready to close out with everybody's final thoughts, starting with Papi Chulo.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate it, Chris. First off, I just want to correct you because you called Duke University a blue bus school. They are not a blue bus school. They are gone. That university will never reach the heights that it ever got to with Coach K. So I just want to make that very clear.
I've been saying it too.
And then the University of North Carolina will forever own Duke University, and I don't ever want to hear another Duke fan say
Man,
that
see,
for the
like,
rest of
you
my
was
life.
doing good. You were doing great, actually. Then you had to bring up North Carolina.
But anyway, that's all I'm gonna say regarding college basketball front. But just like about the whole thing, like that Nat was talking about earlier, it's not that I disagree with her, because I actually do agree with her on a lot of her points and my personal feelings towards KD. But what I was trying to bring up was that, okay, yes, the situation was created based on a decision that both he and Kyrie made together to go to Brooklyn, and then some of the things that they did while they were at Brooklyn that ultimately created this situation. So I understand how certain people don't have sympathy, but for us as a culture to look at KD and, look at how it's gone in Brooklyn and not respect him for winning anything, and then for the situation to devolve so quickly around him, and then for him to look for another situation where he can win, and then for us to be like, well, oh, he's ring chasing. I just feel like that's kind of hypocritical of us as a culture. Like, because I mean, how are we gonna sit here and say, oh, you joined a team that had already won a championship, that had won 73 games, and you won 2 championships with them, but you want to claim those championships as your own? No, they were already winners without you. Now he's trying to go to teams like a Miami or a Phoenix Suns that haven't won a championship, and we're kind of like regressing back to like, well, he's just ring chasing again. It's like, I don't understand how we're moving that way. I mean, you can be mad at him as far as like this not being good for
okay,
and everything.
That's
like,
the easiest question. Like, it shouldn't. Like, do you ever watch First Take?
Well,
do you ever watch
yeah,
Undisputed? You ever listen to Colin Cowherd?
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody on ESPN radio? Like, if there's a formula to elicit an emotional reaction, the emotional reaction draws the interest. Then you get hooked because the dopamine spike. So when you want to talk sports, your brain automatically pathways itself to say, "Oh yeah, man, I got to get Stephen A. on." And then you turn on the TV, you watch 2 people start talking, and then end up always yelling for whatever reason. And I'm like, how do you do this where you literally yell every day? That's how they do it, Jordan.
Chris, like to your point, that is true. And like, I'm just like, the thing that I was sitting on, like, I agree with a lot of the things that Nat said. My thing is that I was just trying to look at it from KD's perspective, from where he's sitting, and like everything that he's doing makes sense to me. If I'm looking at it from his perspective, like,
Jordan, I'm trying to understand what exactly, like, you agree with with KD just leaving Brooklyn now. Like, who's your favorite team?
Like, okay, I'm a Lakers fan.
Okay, so you would agree
obviously, I have a vested interest in this because I want Kyrie to be on the Lakers, so I do have a vested interest in it. But
I mean,
objectively,
I'm talking. I mean, from like, I understand feeling empathetic for someone, but he put himself in this position. Like, that's his man. Kyrie's the guy leading this situation.
I'm saying no. Like, okay, Fab. What I'm saying is that I guess empathy probably is the better word. Like, and the thing is, like, I've always said, like, if Kyrie didn't want to get out of Brooklyn, I don't think Kevin wouldn't be doing this if Kyrie didn't want to get out of Brooklyn. Like if Kyrie was willing to stay there and stick it out and see if they could work through this, I fundamentally believe that Kevin Durant would be 100% down for that. But Kyrie,
that's the problem. Like when you're 100%
exactly.
fundamental, you don't allow for any other point of view. Like when you're saying from Kevin Durant's point of view, Kevin Durant's point of view in of itself is a fundamentalist point of view here. It's centered on what is best for me in my situation,
Exactly.
as is every player. So yes, if you look at it and you take it out, you put it under the microscope in 7th grade, you're going to see a linear thought progression and what you think is a logical response to said linear thought progression.
And that's
Kyrie wants out. Brooklyn's falling apart. I've only got X amount of years left to play. I want to play for championships. I need to get out of Brooklyn. That is what you're seeing.
exactly.
Right?
And like I'm
It
seeing
is that's not a linear problem.
exactly, and I'm seeing people say, well, like this doesn't make sense. And I'm like, no. If you actually think about it from KD's perspective, it makes complete sense given what we know to be true about the situation. So like that's why I'm so with like NBA Twitter. I'm like, you can be mad. You can be mad at the move, and you can say it's a snake move, a whole move, whatever type of move you want to call it. You know, that it's like bad for the market, bad for the CBA, and all of this, and we're gonna have a lockout and all of this. And I understand that because I feel that too. But for you to say that it doesn't make sense for him, for people to say that it doesn't make sense for him. That's where I'm like, yeah, you're not looking at this.
Well, the issue is, again, that's from his perspective. They can say it doesn't make sense to them because from their perspective, it doesn't make sense. That's the issue.
Can I just say that it's not that it doesn't make sense from like everything you said right now is true. That's totally logical. But I think when everyone says it doesn't make sense, it's always the comparison with greatness, with the greatest that's been around. He's always going to be compared to Steph Curry, LeBron. LeBron is the king of all this movement, but he's the only one who can move around and win everywhere he goes because he's just that talented. And for whatever reason, it aligned for him, and it worked out. With Kevin Durant, he made a lot of mistakes, including not having a no trade clause, and then signing for 4 years. Why not sign a 1 to 2 year deal? And with Kyrie's re up also, those are fundamental flaws.
I'm so glad you brought up LeBron. Okay.
Hold up. We don't have time for that. Like we don't have the whole time for LeBron and KD. Again, with the contract coming off of injury, generational wealth. You cannot be upset for the dude taking the money that's available when he knows he can request to trade. Like, let's not do that. He signed the contract to get the money because that was the deal that was the best available. Had he done a 2-1, he wouldn't have gotten all the guaranteed money. What happens if he gets hurt again? Great. It's great that he had 1 year of 50, but we can't be doing that. I got 2 minutes left. I want to get through some final thoughts. Jose, you're up first. Pick up after you, and then I'm going to close out because I got to get going.
Already appreciate it, Chris. So can you hear me? Because I don't see my mic thing moving.
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, okay. So Jalen Brunson's gone. Goodbye. Good luck. Wish you the best in New York. I want to be cordial about it. I think the whole shit was messy. Anyways, I'm ready to move on. Nico needs to hurry up and get some wing depth on this team because we only have 2 wings. I'm just ready to see what else is going on with the Dallas Mavericks era going forward. Chris, we definitely need to get you on 77 Spaces so you could kind of give us a breakdown of how you would build the Mavericks roster going forward, because you over here making shadow moves while hosting a space. So I applaud you, Chris. Like, damn, who knew you could get a trade a first round pick for some assets while you're hosting a space? Shout out to you, Chris, for hosting another great space of hoop spaces. Can't wait till next week. See what else happens. James Harden, KD, Kyrie, Aiden, all that good stuff. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, and we definitely can set up the 77 Spaces. it's going to be a lot slower after the weekend. We got the 4th of July weekend, and that tends to be the lull in the NBA world until summer league. So we can definitely work that in. Maybe even have a midday 77 spaces. How about that? Pickup card game is a great game. Like we've played it, I think now 20 times almost in total. We've had it for 2.5 months. So if you go by that, we're playing about one every 3 days, and he has still yet to beat me.
That's hilarious.
People like, look, man, y'all can at me if you want. I don't pull punches, right? Like we had this talk, and I want your opinion on this, Chi, as someone who is building something that children can use and become, proficient at a underrated skill, which is the ability to do quick association with numbers and strategy. My son was so mad yesterday on the way home. We were at the first swim meet championship he's ever been in, by the way. And he was so mad. I was like, man, I'm proud of you. You did great. Here's what you did. And like, I got caught up in trying to appease and make him feel better. And I realized this really quickly, and I stopped and I said, okay, well, why are you mad? He's like, well, I lost every time. And like, that is pretty much how we as a whole in NBA Twitter react, right? Like, I lost every time, a very basic statement. And it was truthful, except that it didn't really explain the entirety of the situation. Like, he advanced 3 levels, made a competitive swim team, and within his first year of competitive swimming, won one individual race, 2 relays, and placed second or third 5 additional times. So he's placed 8 times out of 14 events, and he's swimming against kids who are 18 months to 24 months older than him. And so, like, when I'm explaining to him this, he said, I get it. And like, this is what shocked me. I said, okay, what do you understand? And he said, it's not about what you can do. It's about what you do with what you can do. And he brought tears to my eyes because he understood what I was trying to explain to him. Everything's a possibility. But if you don't actually do what you can do with what you have, right, nothing matters. But somehow, some way, we lose this when we want to talk about these players. Like, let's be honest and treat the players as if you were looking into a mirror. Now, I want your thoughts on that, because like that, what he said, and he said that, like, it blew me away. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's amazing, Chris. And that actually kind of makes me, that brings a big smile to my face, because I always tell folks that pickup is a game, but it's really a tool to have convos with young people. And one convo which I have with lots of young people is like luck and chance, right? The game is based on luck and chance. Luck being dice rolling. It's based on luck being the dice rolling, and that strategy being how you play the game and build your team up. And that's just like life, right? In life, there's things which we control, our strategy, how we make our moves, and there's things which we can't control. And I think for you to understand that, from his standpoint, he can do his best in swim meets, but sometimes he's going to face a much better swimmer, and that's not his control. So I think that's a beautiful thing, man. That kind of comes. That's a beautiful thing, Chris. A few final takes from me. Number one, I need to give love to Skylar and Smith. I'm not sure if people saw, but her coach had in a press conference talked about how Diana Taurasi should be an all-star this year, and the Phoenix Mercury team account put that video up on their Twitter page, and Skylar responded with a simple clown emoji tweet to that video, because I think we've talked a lot about how the WNBA is trying to push a narrative and how lots of players who deserve credit don't get credit. And so I love how she stood up for the general WNBA and then not just go based on what her coach said or go based on what the team was trying to say. She was very courageous to me in doing what she did. So shouts to her. Shout out to you, Chris, man. This show was great today. I think we had over 1,000 people come in. I think the show has been doing great. It is by far the best show in Twitter Spaces. This format is respectful. People get their takes off. There's back and forth, but I think there's a general community understanding around how we engage in this space. So, Chris, that's a testament to you because lots of spaces are different. Lots of them are kind of lots of back and forth and yelling, but this space is definitely a dope space, man. So, congrats to you, Chris. And that's all I got for today, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what else happens in terms of moves and trades and sign-ins. But it's been a great day of great 2 days so far of free agency.
Yeah, no, I agree. I hope that everybody goes into the weekend, take some time. Like, it's gonna get slow. Take some time away from Twitter, y'all. Like, take some time away from watching or covering your favorite team. Like, even if it's just 2-3 hours, right? And just kind of be present in the moment because we're coming up on the 4th of July. And as a vet, this is hard for me in two ways. One, I'm a nerd and I love history. I was enamored with the Civil War, both militarily and the politics of the nature. It's even what we're going through now. We have to understand how good we have it. And this isn't the type of clothes that you're gonna expect here. Like, we take a lot for granted, right? Just think about what you do in your daily life and what you have access to in your daily life and what you don't even do in your daily life that literally 90+% of the world would want for their circumstance. And then understand that there's a woman from this country who is facing a trial, who will be found guilty, who will be given a sentence of 10 years, who has been away from her family, who's been away from her daily life, and understand what this is about. Life is real precious. It literally takes 1 second, one decision to mess it all up. But it also can get messed up through no fault of your own. If you break away a little bit from social media, you'll find out that you've missed stuff and that stuff is also important. So that's what I want for you to do this weekend. Take a break, go out into the real world, and then let's come back and have some great basketball talk as we get into the off season. It's going to be hard. Like, we got a lot that we've missed out on in terms of politics, in terms of regular everyday stuff. And I want to say thank you to all of you who take this break out of your day to come here and talk basketball. That's how I wanted to end it, because when I'm watching what's happening to Brittany, it hurts. And share it in that way so you can feel the earnesty. All right. I appreciate it. We'll see you Monday at 10 a.m. Have a good one, everybody.